on, everybody? Welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover, Mashle, Dr. Stone, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 35. I'm your host, Eagle.
I'm Nox.
And everybody give a welcome back to Mello this week. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Awesome. And as always, we would ask you to take a look in that description box down below where you can find links to any and all of our individual social media accounts, online communities where you can come hang out with us, like Discord, places where you can listen to the podcast wherever you prefer. Also, ways to support the podcast through looking at our online shop or checking out our Patreon. And with all that said, what a fantastic week in Jump.
No Dr. Stone? What the fuck?
No Dr. Stone, but JJK greatness is back.
We got
My
Jujutsu back, okay?
My baby's come home. Oh,
It feels like longer than a month, man.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, because I feel like we keep tabs on it so much that
Yeah.
like it does feel like a long passage of time.
Yeah, for real. Especially when we're reviewing everything else every week and like constantly remembering that it's like not here
No
while we
Jujutsu
talk about
Kaisen,
everything else.
man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we back in full effect now, and I feel like Dr. Stone is like never on break.
Never. Like,
I wonder what's going
It
on.
doesn't
never,
feel like
yeah.
it. It's a chapter of all spreads.
Ooh,
Every
when it comes
single
back.
one.
Ooh.
It's a chapter. There's gonna be 2 pages at the beginning, 2 pages at the end. Everything else spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
That'd be vicious.
major.
Yeah.
Montage time, baby.
Well,
For real.
I think we should just jump right into this nice ass chapter, Jujutsu Kaisen,
Fuck yeah, dude.
chapter 153, Underground Fight Club.
Yes.
And we jumped right back into the Tenzin stuff. It kind of was a little off-putting for me at the beginning, just
'cause
because
you know,
like, we left off on the Maki
Yeah.
and then like started right away with the Tenzin stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, I think that kind of lends to a little bit of what we were talking about in the last Jujutsu Kaisen review, you know,
Right.
a month back, where
Mhm.
Right.
they were, you know, Gege was going to try and bridge the gap for pacing in a kind of some weird ways, where they just explained all of the events of that Maki shit
Hmm.
in a dialogue panel, kind of.
Yeah, because of the time or whatever that was like needed
Yeah.
for the chapter, and then Gege going into like surgery or whatever it was. So yeah, wrapped up the Maki stuff super quick, and then coming right back to Tenzin. I
Right
forgot he
back
was a
to the
character. Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is this?
Looking motherfucker looking like
Back
he's
to the A plot.
one of those motherfucking thumb minions from Spy Kids
Yeah.
2 or whatever.
Yeah, all of those
Yeah.
jokes were fucking hilarious, but
Do you think God hides in heaven in fear of his creation?
no way. Is that a quote from Spy Kids?
Yes.
Is that
Steve
fucking
Buscemi,
Sylvester
baby.
Stallone, isn't it? Oh,
It's Steve Buscemi.
oh
Steve
no.
Buscemi,
But I
yeah.
know Stallone's in the one with the thumbs, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy. Spy Kids had so much star power. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's wild. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so this chapter's cool. The dialogue, well, it's cool that we're going into a fight club like right away. Like that's
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Mhm.
But then like when it's talking about when Tenzin or Tengen rather is explaining the what Hakari is kind of like doing, and he's it's like hand-to-hand combat between sorcerers, and then Megumi's like, doesn't that clearly violate Article 8 in the Jujutsu regulations regarding sorcery? And I know that it's been a while or whatever, and I'm just about due for a reread, but do you guys remember if they've ever specifically brought up Jujutsu regulations and articles and like rules from any kind of like book? Maybe Ijichi like offhandedly like mentions things
I
in the
think-
beginning, but
Yeah.
I think
I
the
think
young guy was
somebody
just like,
offhandedly mentions it at
Yeah.
least.
Mhm.
yeah,
beginning,
when
you know,
he's like,
Gojo
oh, we
or
need to
something.
set up a veil so that, you know, normal people don't witness this.
Right.
You know, we get subsidies from the government so
Mhm.
that this does not explode.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything else is just like, okay, there's the council and,
Yeah.
you know, there's votes and
Yeah, we know
we
like all
want
like that kind of
execution
stuff.
orders. That's
Oh,
about it.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, like that's about it though, right? I don't remember anyone specifically like pulling out a book and like referencing like a line, you know, an article and a line or whatever, you know. So like that's cool though, you know.
I like it. It seems real. Like
Yeah.
annoying bureaucracy.
Right.
Those are the small touches that I like. They're just like,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Fight Club still works inside of the secrecy guideline because they don't use curse techniques in the Fight Club, so
Mhm.
it all makes sense, baby.
And something I love about this chapter is just like this extra serious vibe we're getting from Megumi. Like
This
the
ain't the same
entire-
Megumi.
This ain't the same Megumi. Like the entire chapter, we're getting this super serious, like I'm about the business vibe from Megumi. Like
Yeah.
nothing else.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this mission done because we
Boy's
got
grown
9
up.
fucking days before my sister's got to enter into this shit. It's like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
oh,
Great point. And then that panel on like the top of 4 where the dude swings at him and he just like doesn't flinch and he just like stares at bro. That
Yeah.
expression on Megumi, I was like, oh no, this is a different Megumi.
for real, this is yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's inside of Yuji and Megumi. You know what I mean? Like the Gege is showing like growth from Shibuya, you know, in more ways than just we're edgy sad boys now. You know what I mean? Like Yuji, you know, like they had their moments like directly coming out of Shibuya where Yuji was down on himself, and then you know we know how the storytelling goes from that point on. But then seeing like the subtle differences in like growth, you know, coming out of previous arcs, Yuji, you know, isn't so quick to just blurt shit out and be an idiot anymore. Like you get that fucking panel where
He's not as like jovial. Where
yeah.
like, Megumi's a lot more serious. He was always a little more serious, but now he's much more serious. Where Yuji, instead of being jovial, he's now almost just. He doesn't feel very serious to me, but more just
Fluid.
calm.
He thinks
Calm,
a little bit
fluid.
more. Yeah, yeah.
Fluid.
He thinks
Yeah.
a little bit more before he does shit. You know what I mean? Like on page 5, he's like, "Oh, I get it. If we simply asked to meet Hikari, you know, or if we simply asked to meet him, Hikari would be on guard, and we're not supposed to know his name. So zip." You know what I mean? Like I can see that panel there, and I don't really have a really strong example of another time where he's like spoken out of turn and revealed some shit before, you know, people were supposed to know. But like I could totally see him. Like, oh yeah, we're supposed to see Hikari, you know, or it's like some shit, and it's like, yo, like on some Luffy shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, yo, shut up.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love that he's not just a musclehead this time.
Mhm.
I like that he didn't react. Because like I love Megumi's sharpness in this chapter. I
Right.
love how he's just got his edge, and then Yuji isn't like reactionary either.
Right.
He's like, I'm assessing. I'm gonna react when I need to react. Because when that guy came in for that swing, neither of them reacted.
Yeah, they're just like,
Yeah.
even if
And
you
Yuji's-
would have connected, we would have beat the shit out of that motherfucker. So
Yeah.
go ahead and hit us. You know what I mean?
And Yuji's fast as fuck.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
exactly.
and like even Megumi says it. He's like, "What's up, man? Are you gonna come? Are you gonna like comply with my request, or do I need to fucking lay you flat in front of the bookie?" Like,
But I
will
do
fuck
like
you
that
up
where
right
he's
now.
like, "You're not in charge here. I'm acknowledging the real person in charge here. It's the
Mhm.
bookie."
It's the
Yeah.
bookie.
No, because I love this. I love the way he talked his way through this encounter. Like
right.
that is prime bluffing, negotiating, the haggling. By like, I like that Megumi was just like, "Oh yeah, this is my plan. I'm gonna hold off," and he's like, "I'm gonna talk the most shit."
Yeah.
And
So
we'll
that
just
it's
have
all
Yuji be in
eyes
the
on
background.
me. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all eyes on me. They think I'm the leader, even though Yuji's about to go in here and beat everybody that fights.
Eat ass.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So
Like
good.
he's yeah,
so
'cause-
good. He plays
yeah.
on expectations. He knows how those people are gonna react,
right.
Yeah.
and he's just like, okay, well, what about your friend? And he's like, oh, no, it's gotta be me. Please
Yeah.
send me in there. Not this barbarian of a young lad.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
And I
Not
love
just
how on
monster.
page 8 it like kind of like reminds us that you know, shit is crazy after Shibuya still, you know what I mean? And not that there wouldn't be, you know, not that there wouldn't be curses, you know, or cursed spirits running around even, you know, if Shibuya didn't happen, but like seeing that panel on page 8 where it's like it took longer than I thought to get this far, hoofing it where transportation is still running, stopping along the way to beat down cursed spirits. It's like, oh yeah, there's cursed spirits running around like crazy right now, like in the streets and shit still, like I'm pretty sure. And it's like I kind of forgot about like the post Shibuya landscape a little bit because we got a lot of like exposition and world building inside of the Tengen stuff, and then it obviously goes right into the Zenin clan stuff, and like we haven't seen ground level of like Tokyo, you know, or anywhere in Japan, you know, like a whole lot since the Tengen stuff kind of started. So it was cool to get like a little one panel that kind of reminded me of like the state of things or the landscape.
what if when we go back to somewhere we can see, you know, like a widespread, you know, part of Tokyo or something. What if it's just like a berserk-esque like hellscape of fucking
Oh my
cursed
God.
spirits and shit, just like people getting mauled.
I think it's relatively you know, reined in. I know that we're only seeing like rich non-sorcerers that come to these like fight clubs, you know, and like the people involved in them. So like even if it was a hellscape outside, these people would probably still be safe to some degree because they have money. You know what I mean? But I want to say that they've kind of reined it in since Shibuya, and that like it's not, you know, just apostles running around eating people. You know, like I want to say that, but like we don't know. I feel like I don't remember. Yeah, I feel like I don't remember. I do kind of want like a bird's eye view, you know, or just like, you know, a couple pages dedicated to like how regular people are kind of still dealing with the post Shibuya landscape. But
I feel like it's gonna be a slow boil. Like if Japan is the pot, all the people are the frogs, and the water is gonna slowly get hot. So I don't imagine it's gonna be like super crazy, but like people are like, hey, don't go out at night. There's been some weird serial killings. It just seems like people just straight up missing their heads, and it's this one creature that just only pops out at night and like catches people at street lamps or something like that. Like, oh, we found 5 bodies headless by a street lamp. Like, gotta watch out. And like for like the regular people, they're just like, oh yeah, you just watch out. There's some weird shit going on.
Yeah, stay indoors.
It's like go out in pairs, that kind of thing.
That is a good point. Yeah, because they can't even see what's happening with the cursed spirits. Like
they just find bodies. That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the point that this guy makes in the chapter, he's like, no cursed energy because
they can't see it anyway. Yeah, so that'd be boring.
Fight that they can't see, like people just getting smacked by invisible shit, like
or they're just standing there, you know, for like 5 minutes at a time, not fighting because like their abilities are like, you know what I mean?
They're going hard, bro. But yeah, especially about the cursed spirits running around. Like normal people can't even see what's happening; they just see people getting like yacked on.
Yeah,
and people, I feel like. It's like the daytime thing. Like I feel like it's like cursed spirits are stronger when there's tension, and like even though we live in a world of light, manufactured light, night is still scary.
That's right.
You know, so I think that those cursed spirits will definitely be like a little more potent, a little more active at night.
I like that.
I mean, shit, I'm low-key like super black darkness. I get a little freaked out. You know what I'm saying? I'll skirt inside real quick on them.
Yeah, it's not like I think a monster's gonna pop out, but it's just you just don't know what's like 10 feet in front of you.
Fear of
it's as simple as like, am I gonna get mugged?
Yeah,
you know,
am I gonna get mugged?
Like I'm walking home 3 a.m. Truck slowly drives past me, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, even if you live in more rural areas, you got to worry about like wild animals that might be trying to take advantage of the nighttime so that they can run up on, you know, a human that like wandered a little bit too far into their territory or something like that. There's all kinds of uncertainty and darkness that, you know, is makes sense to be, you know, afraid of, even though we, like you said, Mello, are living in a world of manufactured light, artificial light, you know, and shit like that. But yeah, people were asking I saw people asking on Twitter like where Hikari was during Shibuya, and it's like because
chilling.
We're chilling, and it's like why would he be there? You know what I mean? Like why just be, like yes, he's associated with the Jujutsu High School, and yes, he's wildly powerful, and we keep getting hints at his capabilities because Yuta says he's just about as strong as me. I believe he was included in the group of, you know, young sorcerers that Gojo mentioned way earlier in the series about people who will eventually surpass him. So Hikari has had a decent amount of hype kind of tied to his name the whole time. So I think that's why people were like, where the fuck was this motherfucker during Shibuya? And it's like, well, one, he was like suspended, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck the Jujutsu like world, bro. Like I'm about to get my money over here. Whatever's happening over in Shibuya, like, you know, too bad. Like it was cool to suspend one of the strongest people you had back when you had Gojo. You know what I mean? But like now look at you. Gojo's gone and you want to suspend one of the only sorcerers that you guys really have inside of your like, you know, understaffed like situation that you've been talking about like the entire series. Like that's what you get, bro. I'm over here getting my bread. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Fuck off.
And it's not like he got paid to show up like Mei did.
Right.
Either. Right. So
but we know he's about his bread, so they could have I don't even think they would have reached out to him with a money proposal because they're fucking douchebags and he's suspended. It's like, well, we don't want him. He's on, you know, he's on leave. But you'd think that they'd be like, hey, man, it's a different situation now, bruh. And at the same time, like all the Shibuya stuff happened in like a really short amount of time too. So who knows? Like after
Would they
Gojo was
be able to
sealed,
reach him?
yeah, would they have been able to like even get in contact with him and make him an offer, you know, while all the chaos was going on? So yeah, it just doesn't make sense that Hikari would be there. So I just wanted to throw that. I just wanted to have that conversation because
I think that's totally valid because like the Jujutsu Society, like
yeah,
they probably, even if they had the ability to contact him, they wouldn't because in a time of crisis, they, the monolith, the bureaucracy, would need a show of strength, and that would not be it.
Sure.
That would be admitting, oh, we made mistakes and we've undercut ourselves and we've shaved ourselves so thin we're a brittle spear.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
we
a
can't,
really
like
good
that.
point.
It wouldn't look good for them, and
Right.
it would give Hikari a huge bargaining position. And
Wow.
it's like, yeah, no, they're not gonna call him in ever.
Yeah, that's a great point, man.
I like that Yuji's reaction to this on page 9, where he's just like, "Oh, you want me to put on a show? Okay, I'll keep that in mind." And he's just like, he's not like super cocky. He's just like very kind of matter of fact, very
confident,
placid.
He's like,
he's like
that's
placid and
good.
Confident. Like he's just cool.
Well, I was gonna go back to this conversation as well, and just further lending to what you kind of mentioned earlier, Mello, about Yuji's, you know, growth here that we're seeing in this chapter. He's just kind of subtly conversing with this dude, kind of getting him to give him more and more information, like, oh, you know, so what's the boss like? And then he's like, well, you know, he fixes some of the fights, you know, some of the fights they're just no holds barred, and he's like, oh, so it's kind of all about the show. You better show you put on, the higher position you get, like on some WWE shit.
Yeah.
And that's when it goes into that moment Mello mentioned where he's like, bet I got this shit.
Yeah. And his confidence is going to come from the fact that it's like, man, if it's not Kenjaku, Sukuna, or whatever the threats that we just came out of in Shibuya, I have literally no reason to fear anything about this situation because, I mean, besides Hikari, who's going to check me in here if I do anything? You know what I mean? Like, no one's beating me in this tournament. If it's hand-to-hand especially and there's no curse techniques allowed, I don't even got one of them shits anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like...
Like he's like I just went toe to toe with awakened Mahito. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Mahito, like Sukuna, like Kenjaku, like those are like all threats that we'll have. How many fingers is
our boy at? Anyway,
he's at 15.
15, Jesus.
I think, I'd have to double check. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure we're at 15 right now.
I'm pretty sure he's at 15. Yeah.
Oh, that's
like
so
he's
good though. No,
a problem.
He's peaking and he's starting to peak.
Yeah. But another thing is, like, for him being at 15, we haven't seen the Sukuna mouth. We haven't seen any of Sukuna yet.
Yeah, I feel like this. I feel like all of the mouths and shit. Like I feel like we haven't seen this for a while. Yeah, I feel like he's and you'd think that you'd see him a little bit more now that he has a little bit more, you know, fingers in him. You'd see a little bit more of Sukuna's influence coming out, like whenever to like talk shit or whatever. But I mean, yeah, he seems to be settled right in with this new power. I
think Sukuna's chilling just because he's like, yeah, I had my fun.
Oh, sure.
I decimated so much. Like he devastated city blocks.
Yeah.
Right? Like he had his fun. And he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to chill. I can't make my host too wary of me.
Right. That's fine.
You know, I need to go out there. Speaking of mouths, I love that Yuji's scar on the left side of his face.
Yeah.
Still there from Mahito, where
and
he
his
just
forehead.
tore off a piece of his chest. Yeah, I love that they're keeping all that stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's cool to see that that Panda, he's fighting Panda. Yes.
Yeah.
And also, like, when I saw Panda here, I was like, okay, wait a minute. And like I thought about it and I was like, oh, this is cool because now we know that like other people that didn't go to Tengen's, you know, or maybe Panda just got the information from someone else. But when I saw Panda here, I was like, okay, so like multiple groups had the exact same idea of what to do next. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what because Panda wasn't involved in like anything. And that's why Yuji's like surprised to see him almost like at first. You know what I mean? He's like, what the fuck's Panda doing here? He's like, oh, okay, we're all trying to do the same thing. It's kind of like how I took that. And that's cool. Because you don't need exposition for that. As soon as you see Panda, it's like, oh, surprise, they start fighting, and then you get everything you need like while they're throwing hands with each other, and it like you could fill in all the gaps in between the lines, you know, and their conversation is just what you need. You know what I mean? So that's tight.
Hell yeah. And I do like that, you know, what you mentioned about how they're just casually conversing during the fight. Like, oh, what are you doing here? Oh, this is what I'm up to. Oh, so you're on the same shit? All right, bet. Well, you know what to do then.
It's like I'm a known factor. I'm useless here. but hey, get in there, kid.
Yeah, you got this. They don't know you're with the school, right? And he's like, yeah, no. And he's like, all right, perfect. Knock me out then and go meet Hikari. You know what I mean?
This is animal cruelty.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. Panda's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
I really like the announcer,
John Bobby.
There's buffer on him.
Yeah,
John Bobby.
He reminds me of the of Announcer Man from Metabots.
Oh wow,
the kid show. Metabots.
No
like,
way.
The little bow tie.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Like I love all the references in this series. Like the Fight Club, first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. Like the thumb that is Tengen, you know, all these movie references. It's great.
Yeah, but then it's cool how, like, you know, it's a fight club or whatever, and you expect a lot, you know, like when you hear, you know, the words Fight Club, you can assume a lot of what it's going to be about. But I like the twang that they throw on it, where it's like, yeah, it's a fight club half the time, and it's WWE the other half of the time. You know what I mean? It's literally professional wrestling with scripts and, you know, decided on winners and a storyline and things like that. And that's cool that, like, that is not only just the situation, but also, like, that's a part, like, we're getting a lot of Hikari's personality, you know, in this chapter. You know what I mean? And, like, I wonder if we're going to go into scripted stuff, or if that's just, like, why would they bring it up if we're not going to see, you know, shit like that? But, like, I wonder how that's going to go, because it's like, is that just going to be straight comedy? Are we going to get, like, any kind of tension during that time? Like, I would assume, I want to say, like, if we do, like, if he's like, okay, I like you, Yuji, you're rolling with me, we're gonna have you win, you're gonna be the new upstart, here's your script, boom boom boom, and then, like, is that going to happen for a while and we'll get like a montage, or is it just like first scripted thing, something terrible happens and then, like, the plot continues going into the culling game or something like that? So I'm, like, really interested about that. But
that'd be kind of interesting.
Something
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say something funny in a comedy aspect would be, I don't know, this might be too much. It might be a little redundant if we get another person kind of undercover in this scheme, but a funny thing was if he surprised again was fighting Todo.
oh,
Like, instead
wow.
of following the script, they fucking just ad lib, completely improvise some shit on some, you know,
On some
Toto
brother
and
shit,
Yuji
on some
shit.
Toto
on
and
some
Yuji
brother
shit.
you know.
That'd be
That would
hilarious.
this is the most
but it might be a little
WWE
redundant
thing
if we
ever.
get, you know, another
Yeah,
person
that would be
cover
very WWE too, though. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Brother claps, teleports behind him, and then sucker punches.
Yo.
Oh, but my man
I
Toto's
really-
missing a
Oh
hand.
yeah, that's right. I don't think he has Boogie Woogie anymore. Yeah, I think Boogie Woogie might be gone now.
Oh,
Because he said, well, okay, so he
Boogie
lost his
Woogie's
hand.
dead.
He lost his hand, but then after he lost his hand, he still clapped Mahito. So, but then, you know, he slapped Mahito's hand and activated Boogie Woogie. So that was cool. But then after that, when Yuji was fighting full form Mahito, like, Todo faked a Boogie Woogie. He, like, faked him out, and that's why he was able to land the Black Flash that kind of finished it.
True.
Like, and he said right then, he's like, damn, it looks like my Boogie Woogie curse technique is already dead. And that could be Cap, you know what I mean? Like, he could have just bluffed it and then, like, said some shit. I don't fucking know, but, like, I think
didn't he slap his hump?
yeah, something
Or
like
his
that.
hump, his
Yeah,
stump,
his
I mean.
stump. Yeah. He said something like that, you know what I mean? So you never know. But I feel like we can be pretty confident that his curse technique is just, like, not accessible, at least for a while. You know?
Makes you wonder what Toto would actually like. If I like the idea of someone losing their power and their whole style of fighting, and then, like, developing a new method of
Yes.
fighting.
If anybody would, it's Toto.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
and also, I wonder, like, what, based on his experience with the Shibuya incident, how is that going to shape his techniques?
Yeah.
I want to see that. I think with the scripted fight, we're gonna get that 9 to 5 guy,
9 to 5 guy.
the 7 to 3, right?
Oh,
Where he's the new-
yeah.
I think he's gonna show up in, like, the scripted fight or unscripted fight,
Ooh.
and like they're like, okay, he's just a regular guy,
Mhm.
and then he accidentally like subconsciously does it, and Yuji's arm flies off, and he's like,
Oh
God
my
damn
god,
it."
that'd be fucking crazy. So okay, so you're saying that okay, wait, because yeah, it was implied. That's right. If we go back a little bit, there was that chapter at the end where it kind of implied that this dude has Nanami Kento's, like, curse technique now or something like that.
It's passed on.
Passed on, or yeah, something. I don't. I haven't thought about it in a really long time. But like, so you're basically saying he doesn't know that he has that technique and that he would accidentally use it inside of a scripted fight. I feel like because we never seen like because this dude's old, right? He's older. You know what I mean? And you get your curse technique like around 7 or 8. So I want to say he should know that he has it. But if it was like passed directly from Nanami to that person, then I feel like that's the first time that we're seeing anything like that in the series, or hearing about anything like that in the series, where like devil fruits, you know, like respawning in like different fruits or something like that. Like
it might be something like
oh wait, no, not devil fruits, but negator abilities inside of Undead Unluck would be a better example, because we saw that directly transfer from Shen to Mui. You know what I mean? So like in the moment, you know,
Does that mean the 7-3-9-5 ability manifests spontaneously in people that fulfill a certain condition or archetype?
Oh wow!
And so because Minami was a consummate salaryman, that guy became the guy. And then this guy's, it seemed like, I felt like he was like a survivor of the Shibuya incident. So like by proximity and exposure to like mass curse energy, all these people are probably gonna like, not all these people, but like a few of them are gonna start manifesting things because it's the exposure. And he just happened to fit the bill.
That would be that's a wild like concept. I want to say that kind of like infringes on like some things related to the energy system that we know about so far. I can't tell you exactly what. I mean, the only point of reference that I have is just like you get your curse technique passed down to you, or it manifests around like age 7 or 8. So there's definitely room for that, but like I just don't think that we've heard about anything like that yet, and we have like such a good idea of like how the energy system works like now that's like, holy shit, if we got that would be like massively game-changing lore information, which could Gege can do whatever they want, you know what I mean? But I'm just, based on what we have right now, I want to say that would be like very weird if it wasn't explained properly in the series, you know what I mean?
So what do you guys think of like Kinji and Karara's like appearances and like what they might be able to do as Jujutsu sorcerers?
Yeah, I love Kinji's appearance. I think he looks fucking awesome.
Everybody looks
this
cool.
Dope ass boa jacket, man, with the slick back hair and the dashes in his eyebrows.
My man on his corazon, you feel me?
Yeah, he's got like a John Watersy mustache. He's got like the notched eyebrows. He's slick. He kind of reminds me like, and he's got like a kind of like a sly looking face.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of like the Doflamingo style a little bit. Like he's just got it. He's got charisma. I think his power might be related to like how excited he is. Just on like based on his like dialogue, because like there's always a little bit of like foreshadowing, I feel like, in dialogue,
right,
especially with sorcerers, because he's like, as I'm always saying, you got to strike while the iron's hot. And then earlier he's like, I can feel things starting to cool down. And he's like, things are heating up. It reminds me of the days of my old girlfriend and maxed out credit cards. And so I'm like, is his power related to like excitement or stress? Because that's hilarious.
Well, you just made a lot of temperature references.
Yeah, like
strike while the iron's hot. Things seem to be cooling down.
Yeah, because but he seems also like he seems passionate in that sense, but then he's talking about like, oh, he fights in 3 dimensions, the dazzle spectators up top. I can write a good script, you know. So he seems like cool and collected as well.
Yeah.
As far as Kirara goes, though, oh my bad, sorry, continue.
No idea. I mean, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, he says Kirara will provide security. You know what I mean? So like, we can assume that potentially her curse technique is related to security or surveillance
combat.
or yeah, and it could be combat related as well. I guess I like kind of like went the route of like you know, reconnaissance security, you know, like just like checking up on things, like you could put an eye somewhere in some form or fashion. I thought about like Satellite Tonbo from Hunter x Hunter inside of like Flutter, the dragonfly dude. But then we also but we have something like that inside of Mei Mei's character, actually, with the crows. She can basically like, you know, see things with the crows or whatever. So I feel like it wouldn't be something too close to Satellite Tonbo, because that's really similar to the crows. But I mean, security in the form of like some kind of I don't know. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that it would be like combat oriented to a certain
Or
degree, but
restraint, like a type
or
of restraint,
restraint.
which would be
Yeah.
interesting. Like I like her style, the face piercings, the choker. She
Hmm.
seems pretty fashionable. Like
Yeah.
she was not thrilled to be like volunteered to work.
Yeah.
Uh,
And she's like, "What? Uh, uh, I gotta
she's
do
like,
what?"
huh?
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. Um, I think it'd be kind of cool if she used like her piercings or something to like channel her curse technique or like a choke or anything, and like
Ooh.
basically if she can like, I don't know, like maybe if she's able to touch something or touch someone, she can like transfer something. So like if she touches you and then touches her own piercing, she'll like transfer it over, and it's just suddenly your face has piercings in it.
Oh
Like
shit! Like a
I don't
voodoo
know.
doll or some shit.
Yeah, a little bit, a little
Damn.
bit. I know it's stepping on our girl, but like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like security is for me is like more about restraint than like overpowering an
Yeah.
opponent. It's
Yeah.
like
For sure.
reducing the thing. I love that Megumi's abilities seem a little more utilitarian instead of like, oh, I'm relying on my summons. He's able to like
Yeah.
manipulate shadow.
Cloak
It's
himself in the shadow.
He's got this cloak, so I wonder what the explanation on this is gonna look like, because we know from what we know about his abilities, like we know that the Shikigami situation is like his main curse technique, and this doesn't really have anything to do with that. But then we know that like he can kind of do stuff like this inside of his domain, which he's not using right now. You know what I mean? So I wonder like what the explanation or how they're going to like work this into, like why it makes sense inside of his technique. Not that I'm saying that it doesn't right now, because I'm remembering Iori from Phantom Seer, and Iori was also a shadow user, and then there was that line of dialogue about how he's able to like kind of like slip past people, by making himself like transparent like a shadow or something, and that's why he's like not noticed all the time, because he has that like shadow walk technique or whatever that we saw. And the explanation on that like felt really good. I feel like I'm butchering it right now, but it was about being noticed, and like how like you can be going to school with me for like 2 years and like never notice me in the class. It's because I don't want you to, because I'm like sitting inside of a shadow because I want you all to leave me alone or something like
yeah.
that. It was something cool like that. But and like that would be cool for this, because he's obviously like, if you look at this panel on 18, he's like right by this guy. You know what I mean?
He's in the guy's shadow.
Oh, he's in his shadow.
Like just above the thing. You see the guy talking
Yeah,
on the
man.
phone, and he's in the shadow. Like,
Yeah.
and I like that the little like smoke shape mimics the guy's pompadour. Like
Yeah.
he's in that dude's shadow. And
Yeah,
part of me's
wow.
like, is this like an advanced form of a domain? Because like one domain's like external, where it's like, Puppet Shadow Garden or like that, where all the animals come out.
Yeah.
And this one's more of an internally focused domain where he's just keeping it super close to his body, and he's like, as long as I don't harm anybody,
Right.
I can hide in someone's shadow or something like that.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I would just wonder, like,
be
I
awesome.
feel like it would have to be related to like domain stuff, because it's like it's just so weird to think. Like, I don't remember. Well, no, because Megumi could always could always store weapons in his shadows. That's right. So we know that he has like a shadow, like a passive shadow, or maybe not passive, but just like
a shadow space.
Yeah, extra shadow abilities outside of his domain that aren't Shikigami is what I'm saying. So then
True.
I feel like that is a thing. So so it's not too new what he's doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, he pulled out weapons when he was like doing the training matches with Maki.
That's right.
When like Panda was first introduced, and like I remember that. So it's nice that that's already been foreshadowed, but like this is a nice expansion on it. And like I like this chapter as a way of coming back, because it has intrigue, it has combat, it has a little bit of mystery.
Yes.
Like new characters introductions, like a reaffirmation of like what their goals are. I like especially the space of the Fight Club.
Yeah.
That it's like, hey, we're not supposed to have a real Fight Club. And instead of having like an established ring, they literally just tore off the ceiling. It's like, hey, it's a broken parking lot. No one wants this.
Right.
And the owner, for some reason, isn't selling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It reminded me a lot of with this double page spread on 1011. Looks a lot like I can't remember who brought it up first, but someone said looks like the area where Oma and Sekibayashi Jun kind of like first fought in the beginning of Kengan Ashura. I don't know if either of you two have read Kengan Ashura, but that was just like a cool thing that someone pointed out that I wanted to make sure that I brought up since we were on the subject of the space that they're fighting in. But that was a cool thing to think about.
11 also gives me like big Hunter x Hunter X Hunter vibes.
In which way?
Just like the beginning, like all like this kind of scratchy detail for like the debris
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like the
The Hunter
distinct
exam.
NPCs.
Yeah.
Like the very distinct NPCs. Like, oh yeah, here's this thing, like the big spread, and they're like even the like bombastic John Bobby. Like it was just like okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool, all right. It just
Hell yeah.
gave me that moment, and then
John
like
Bobby.
went back into its style.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely.
Oh,
This is a
Panda.
great chapter. And I'm glad that we had so much to talk about in the chapter, because when I was reading it and I was thinking about like what the review would look like tonight, I was like, man, I feel like there's not like a whole lot of what there usually is in Jujutsu Kaisen chapters. And even if Jujutsu Kaisen chapters are setup chapters, they always give you so much in a couple of different areas. And this one kind of did that too. And now that we had the conversation, you know, it makes a lot of sense. But I remember going into the review like, man, I feel like this might be a short segment or a shorter, you know, Jujutsu segment than we usually have, because there's not like, it just didn't, you know, like it's like Gege's back, you know, like in full effect, you know what I mean? Like it's like they never left, you know what I mean? But like this one feels like the next chapter is really going to be something wild, like we can usually expect inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. So
Absolutely.
Something else that kind of piqued my interest as I was reading it was the on page 10 and 11, the double spread where Yuji first walks into the arena. We get these 3 specific rich dudes like pictured, you know, in their own panels, dedicated. And so that kind of was, I don't know, that stood out to me as something that's like,
yeah,
are we gonna get some plot lines, you know, develop with them, you know, kind of as intricate characters?
could this be characters that matter? Yeah. Or, you know, the way that I kind of, that's a really cool thought. The way that I kind of took it was just like, we're just gonna show guys in suits first and then pan out, you know, or well, no, because that's right, because the double spread panel is above them. Yeah, absolutely. So it shows all of the people and then it zooms in on these guys. Yeah. I was kind of thinking about it before as like show some guys in suits, then pan out to like all of them up here in lower detail, so that you just know that these are the kind of guys up there. These are what the kind of guys like that like come to these things look like. You know what I mean? And then,
well, and not even that, because we got dudes up here in like sweaters and track suits.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, casual clothes as well, just regular people.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
Those might be the sponsors specifically, or like the major bettors.
Yeah.
The major players in any casino.
Right. Oh yeah.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot more to say about this chapter, you guys.
that could potentially be the plot line we get if they are the major bettors in this thing, and they're the dudes making the most money, and then we do get like an improvised fight from Yuji or something. They come into play where they're like, "Yo, you're fucking my money up. What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, I mean.
Oh, nice, Eagle. Yeah, there you go.
I'm thinking that like Yuji, he's so physically reinforced that it might be really hard for him to throw a fight. Like he tries to throw a fight and a guy punches him and breaks his hand on his face. And not even a way like he's leaning into it. Like he's trying to sell the punch.
Yeah.
And then the guy still breaks his hand. And he's like,
oh damn.
And he's like, do I lay down? Do I stay down? I don't. No, I have to stay down. And then the guy kicks him a bunch of times. He's like, all right, fuck this.
Breaks his leg, kicking him.
Yeah, it's super fun to think about like how the scripted stuff can go wrong, because it's going to be funny, or it's just going to be like shit hits the fan after that moment and like crazy shit starts going down and it gets tense again. You know what I mean? But I wonder if we are going to get a little bit of comedy for a while in Jujutsu Kaisen, maybe not a whole chapter, but like that'd be a crazy change of pace considering like the story arc that we're kind of leading into right now.
I mean, something that could lend, you know, to a more serious vibe next chapter with the staged fight, if we do get it, is, you know, maybe somebody potentially actually recognizes Yuji and is really coming like for his neck.
Oh man,
you know,
like fuck the rules. I'm using my curse technique. Fuck everybody here. I'm killing Yuji for some reason.
Yeah,
that might be a good test actually. That would actually be a really good test of like his like Hiraki. Hikari might actually test him as like, hey, this is a scripted fight, you have to lose, and then he tells the other guy, piss him off.
Yeah.
Use your curse techniques. Make him feel actually threatened.
Yo.
Like you're gonna go off the script to prove a point, and see if he'll like break script.
Break character. Yeah.
I kind of want to see that kind
That'd
of
be
thing
cool.
happen. I think that like now that like the whole squad's like broken up into these pieces, like I had to read a couple chapters to like get back into it. Like I had to go back like 3 chapters just to like see what's going on, get back into the swing of things. And I feel like it's going to be like small bursts of arcs, so condensed, but like action. Here's the movement, and then they're flipped from like A to B to C. And those are going to be the major plots: A plot, B plot, C plot, and just like
all kind of like
shuffle
parallel to each other and then converge at some point.
Around.
Yeah,
it's going to be a little bit like Game of Thrones, right? Where you have this impactful scene and then they skip over to these other main characters that are doing their thing, and like, and then maybe like, kind of like segues and like, at this time, at this date, such and such a thing is happening, and then it's like, you know, get to, you know, where it's like just a little time where he's just like, Kenjaku, and he's just like, okay, here, I'm doing his thing, and that's like 3 pages, and that's it, and then you go back to the A plot, and you're like, what? I feel like that's what they're setting up the pacing for, especially with like Maki being kind of that precedent of that style of scene shifting.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. We have a lot like kind of like set up like from the Culling game right now. We have already, well, the Maki stuff, I'm excited to see like what the next Maki related thing is going to be, if we're going to leave her character alone for a while, or if she is going to be, you know, a recurring character and plot point leading up to the Culling games. Because right now we have Maki doing her thing, we have Megumi and Yuji doing their thing. I don't remember where Yuta is off the top of my head, but I know that Choso and Yuki stayed back with Tengen as their as his bodyguard. So we have a lot of moving parts in this arc already when it hasn't even started. You know what I mean? So it's like Culling game is who knows how long into the future still. Yeah.
Choso, Yuki, and Tengen would be a great place to have like a 3-person like exposition scenes, like at the end of a chapter, just 4 pages of them, just like maybe two 4 pages tops, 4 tops, like just a few pages of them just talking, and like Choso being like, I am not human, I don't really understand the reference, cool, and like kind of being the dumb guy for a little bit, but like
that'd be great.
Still being savvy. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
But I'm so glad to have Jujutsu back. I hope Gege stays healthy.
For real.
Yes.
Like, this is like Rip Kentaro.
Yeah, Rip Kentaro Miura for sure. And just to that point, absolutely. Like Gege's back. A lot of people like were thinking like the hiatus was going to be much longer than a month, and that it might turn into like, you know, a Berserk kind of situation, or like a Hunter x Hunter Togashi kind of situation, whatever hiatus you want to use as a reference. But it looks like they're back now. I hope it's not because they feel like they need to be, you know what I mean, or whatever. I feel like I want to believe that Gege is healthy, and that's why they're here right now. You know what I mean?
I hope they like caught the problem early enough to nip it in the bud and like actually preserved their health before going back to the grind.
Yeah, I mean that Kentaro Miura stuff really kind of like puts some stuff into perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I recently only found out that like a mangaka produces 5 pages a day.
Something like that. Yeah, it's
That's
wild.
insane.
Yeah,
like,
it's a huge strain.
That's a
man.
massive workload.
Yeah. Even if you're new, like you don't even have to be someone who's been in the game for a long time. Like at any, you know, experience level of manga creation, that's got to be a wild schedule.
That's
you know
entry level requirements.
Yeah.
Entry level.
Yeah.
Well,
oh man, what a chapter. Yeah.
I think that's about all I had for this chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, I think I'm
Welcome
good too.
back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and move right into chapter 72 of Mashle. Mosh Burned Dead and the Giant's Chain. And this chapter, I mean, went pretty much how I expected it to when I read the chapter title.
Yeah.
And something that really upset me about this chapter is just like, I mean, a typical shonen shit, but like all these just fodder, literal fodder faces in the crowd,
Mhm.
like talking shit. Like, shut the fuck up. I
Yeah.
don't know. I hate, and this is something that obviously was present like in the beginning of Black Clover and is
Right.
present in a lot of stories, but just like rich, I don't know, conceited motherfucking yuppie fucks that like
Hmm.
look down on the, people with no magic in these types of stories.
Yeah,
Always
but
piss me off.
it was cool later on in the chapter though how we get that perspective again, and like you kind of like see them coming out of that mindset because Mash is like literally saving their lives without magic. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm like I like these characters or anything. But
No.
Yeah.
it was cool to see it go from like this dude has no magic, we're all fucked, to like holy shit, this dude is doing something, but he still has no magic. That shouldn't be able to happen, right? And then eventually like the it's kind of like broken, like the not stigma, not like indoctrination, but just like
The
the way of
schema.
thinking. Yeah, there you go, there we go.
Yep.
It's kind of like broken, and it feels like so right. It's like, well, we have no reason to literally to think this anymore because a man without magic is doing what we're all seeing him doing, and then eventually gets to like, does it matter if he can't use magic? And just like the way that that was presented, I feel like hit so hard just because you get like, you don't get like declarations, you don't get like anybody like drastically important coming to this realization. You get, the crowd internally, like to their friends, like,
Yeah.
does it matter that he can't use magic? No, it doesn't. You know what I mean? And like that hits really hard in the way that you want it to in things like this and Black Clover and things like
It
that.
just
I
didn't
think-
seem like that genuine to me. Like,
Oh,
I don't know,
sure.
That's
these
fair.
people,
I mean-
I don't know, like, oh yeah, oh now when he's about to stomp your fucking life away, this
Yeah.
giant thing. Now oh wow, this guy with no magic, he's saving us. He's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're changing their minds. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, what were
It
you gonna
may
say, Melo?
not carry forward. It
Mm.
might not carry forward. It's like that gratitude of the moment kind of thing. So
Yeah.
fair weather friends, if you want to
Sure.
frame it like that.
But yeah,
I do
definitely.
like the kind of pacing of it. They're like, oh, there's a big ass thing. We need to take care of it. Let's save it with magic. I love the Graviola Explosia combo to like send back debris. And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh, there's barriers. Yeah, their magic doesn't work on this. Oh, we are screwed.
Doubt is
Right.
like, it totally pulled that barrier thingy out of nowhere. What's up with that? I love that panel. It's like, that's kind of
Blackscape
broken.
in the background, just like,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to be in the crowd, being the one that's casting those barriers.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
They've got people hidden in the crowd that are part of Innocent Zero, and that's their thing. So like, part of me is like, oh yeah, these generic guys, and I like it made me want to like go through each one and see if there was like a character that wasn't really panicking.
Right.
I know, that's what I'm looking for now.
Wow. That's a really cool thought. I mean, like, naturally, I just assumed that this monster and all of its strength were just conditions placed on it by, like, the original caster, whoever that may be, and it's just, like, all in one package. But the idea that there's someone in the crowd doing this would be really fucking cool.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. Like it is like it does seem like fair weather, like Eagle said, but like I think it is necessary in that moment because like their schema is being changed. They're like, oh, magic is the solution to everything. The stronger the magic, the better. And they're like, oh, we're on the short end of the stick on this. This is awful. I don't want to do this, and we're still getting saved by a guy who we're like, let's publicly execute him.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I love the Giants design. It
Yeah,
is
me too.
just it reminds me of like a fucked up version of like the Hecatenares, which is like a Greek giant
Oh.
with like 100 hands, but it's very opposite, and it's even grosser because it's just a bunch of heads, like a bunch of cyclopean heads. I'm waiting for like, 7 different eyes coming out.
So, yeah, it reminded me of Garugan ship or whatever that thing is from One Punch Man that all of the S-class heroes were fighting at the end of the Boros arc.
Yep.
The thing that like kept regenerating or whatever, and then fucking Atomic Samurai and Bang I'm pretty sure finished it. But yeah, you guys remember that shit? Yeah, it reminded me of that.
Yeah, like I like this monster a lot.
Mhm.
I don't know what the chain is from. Like, it came with the chain. It
Right.
wears the chain. Is that like possibly like where is it being summoned from? Is it summoned from like the pits of hell where it's been punished for a while and like you've you've temporarily released this prisoner from Tartarus or something like that, because they do reference like gods like Hephaestus, the god of iron, and other things.
Yeah,
so like,
right.
is this like a Tartaran prisoner that Innocent Zero has like summoned?
That's a really cool thought, actually, because I mean, like I was thinking about when the Master Cane stuff came out, and we're like, okay, 13 Olympian gods, you know what I mean? We're thinking about the gods and the wands. I wasn't thinking about any other lore that could be present in the story of Mashle outside of that. So, like, if that is a thing, and we are getting like other areas of mythology outside of the wands, or maybe this is still related to a wand, who knows? But I think that would be fucking cool, man.
I think it is, because like Mashle is basically Hercules.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of his major 12 labors of Hercules to like ascend godhood, or at least find
or come
sort
up
of
to
peace.
godhood. Yeah.
Yeah, like effectively find peace, because they're fighting a guy who's like controlling space and time and all this other stuff.
Right.
And I mean, symbolically, it works because you have the 12 divine visionaries or whatever who you would assume all have Master Canes associated with either Roman or Greek mythology.
Right.
And him symbolically being, or metaphorically being a Hercules type character,
A demigod.
trying to
Yeah.
ascend to Olympus,
Yeah.
with the gods and become a divine visionary. That's
Especially
got
since
some
his like,
powerful symbolism to it.
Yes, eagle.
like, progenitor father, I wouldn't call him a father, but like his like progenitor is Innocent Zero, whose goal is to be God. Like,
Yeah.
it definitely carries over, and I really want Mashle to get I want his cane to be just like the Hercules club, like that giant club that Hercules carried around, and I just want Mash to have that be his thing. He's like, yeah,
pretty much is.
This petrified chunk of wood doesn't break.
Yeah.
Why do you use it? Because it doesn't break. I'm strong as fuck, boy.
Well, no,
He had that one.
His shit is metal.
Yeah, he had that like heavy
he, like,
iron wand that he like
bends
turned
it
into
into
like a
shit.
fucking a tennis racket and shit.
Yeah, so cool.
I don't know if we've seen the wand since then. I think we brought it up on the show. Like, has he used that since then? We've seen it again. Is he ever going to use that again? Because he kind of broke it, or like,
I think he destroyed it.
Destroyed it, like misformed it at the very least. It's like, what are you just going to have the tennis racket? Or are you going to put it back, mash it back to like,
he
a
can
regular?
mash it to whatever form
Yeah, that's
he
true.
wants,
That's
man.
true. It is. Yeah, that's right.
Two
Mold that
generations
joint.
later, here I've bequeathed you this tennis racket of power.
Yo.
This is the lamest thing ever. What? They got a wand. Why'd I get a tennis racket? Don't worry about it.
Your training is finished when you can morph this back into wand form with your bare hands.
This is a
Yeah.
storied
He
item.
takes his wand. He's like, look at this. Turn this back into the wand, and you'll be ready.
It's just a ball of iron at that
That'd
point.
be
He
wild.
just throws it.
Yeah, I love the tug of war match between this giant and Mash. The double spread is fucking beautiful, and I love how it's the thing is so strong still that Mash is not only struggling and being pulled towards it, but also his hands are starting to like bleed and like shit like that. So it's not just a Mash low diffs like this kind of thing. He is struggling a great deal, kind of against this thing, but eventually does beat it. Like when he tosses it into the air and then fucking like missiles into it. Like that was fucking sick. But like just inside of the strength on strength struggle was cool to see Mash kind of like having an issue there.
Mash him with the buzz cut mochi or whatever. Where he, throws
I
him up in
like
the
the
air.
idea that like the chain is like had so much tension applied to it, and because Mash's fingers are like relatively small, the point of pressure is just so concentrated.
Yes.
It's shattering, and those shards are what's cutting up his hands. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh,
Fire.
that's so cool.
Fire.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Innocent Zero's face is still creeping me out, where he's like page 2, his face is terrifying.
Sounded confident enough before. Stop it if you can. He's just so so nonchalant. So like, you're all gonna die. Good luck. Peace. You know what I mean? Like,
I got what I wanted. I
Yeah.
got chrono power time. I mean,
I got
space time.
almost got
Wahlberg's
Mash,
magic.
but my body's breaking apart. So I'll see you next time. Here's a monster.
Right.
Well, I mean, he's also probably thinking to himself, like, if Mash can't deal with that,
Then I don't want him
this
anyway.
tool- and I don't want him. He's not perfect. I need to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, his ego is definitely driving everything.
Yeah.
And he doesn't expect, I don't think he even expects Mash to die. I think he expects Mash to fail and a lot of the school to die, and then Mash will just survive by virtue of being a durable vessel to inhabit later on. I don't know.
Yeah. But just going back to this double spread that Nox you brought up, just so beautifully drawn in like every aspect of it, like especially the Cyclops monster, like the veins all over him and it coming out of like every neck on every head, like just so well drawn.
Yeah, the perspective is great, the angle, the depth, the contrast. I literally have like there's nothing you can say about this artistically. Like everything about this is incredible. The screen tones in the background, like leaning into like the cloud effect, fire.
It's really well balanced.
Absolutely.
It's so well balanced. The idea of contrast, detail, obscuration.
Yeah. Everything. Even inside like the wriggling of the chains. You know what I mean? Like there's still movement.
Yeah.
You know,
you can see that wobble from the tension.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's like
tons of like texture and variety.
Yeah.
And I like that the major sound effect is just the chain clinking. That's it.
Because I imagine how loud that would be at that size. You know what I mean? You need to have the sound effects be that big for something like that.
Especially in a world that's larger than life. You know that stuff's carrying around. Like,
yeah.
And if it's like a chain from hell,
right,
it might even rattle loudly by virtue of it being from hell and being annoying.
Ooh.
Like you carry it around you and it constantly clinks and shatters and like the sound follows you. You can't escape your prison, even if you close your eyes, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, diggity.
Yeah,
but
then we get the slam.
In my opinion.
Super good chapter, I think,
Yeah. What were you going to say, Eagle?
Just then we get the slam at the end, man. It's super fire. A little bit more fire art, you know.
Yeah.
With the movement lines of the speed, him slamming into the ground.
Yeah, you could feel the speed. It like jumps at you. The art and Mashle. Yeah.
The collateral damage from this though has to be major.
That's what I was gonna. That's what I wanted to bring up next. Is like, what do you guys like? How do you guys? I know it's kind of hard to like know for sure inside of a series like Mashle. One, because it's like really early, and well, not really early. Where it's chapter 72. It's still relatively early in the series, and there is like that comedic element to it. So like you never know how an aftermath of this is going to be like shown. It's kind of hard to really have expectations for it, I want to say too, because it's like, okay, so Wahlberg I think is not dead, but he's like drastically fucked. He's like not even a person, you know, like he's half of a person.
He's haggard. He's like, it's like that Dumbledore moment where he had like the super withered hand and he's like, well, I nearly died, but I pushed back the cancer for now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder, you know what I mean, like what the future of this school, and maybe not just the school, but just like the future of the story is going to be. Like Innocent Zero bounced, who knows when the next time they're going to come back is. Probably, you know, a little bit. We'll probably get like other antagonists that we have to deal with before, you know, Innocent Zero comes back and has another arc. But it's like, man, it's like this like really, really messed up the school situation, I want to say, and like just like the status quo of the series itself. So it's like, how is that going to be handled, an aftermath kind of situation like that in a series like Mashle? It's really hard for me to think of potential routes, you know what I mean?
Innocent Zero said that he stole Wahlberg's magic, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean that Wahlberg does not have magic? And so if he survives the thing, if he has no magic, based on the old schema, the old way of things, he would be removed from his position of power, maybe put to pasture or put in a retirement home or something, because they're just like, well, we were going to kill Mash because he has no magic, and them's the breaks. And if Wahlberg doesn't have magic, they're like, do we kill one of the greatest wizards of our parents' generation?
Right.
Like, and then maybe they're like, oh, hey, Wahlberg doesn't have magic. He should step down from the headmaster. Mash doesn't have that protector. We should go forward and execute him. And then would the public turn and be like, hey, no, hey, that guy like saved all of
Yeah,
us
you don't need
and
magic.
saved Wahlberg.
Yeah, no, that's cool because now if the public sees this and they have that like realization, like does having magic power actually matter? You know what I mean? Like so now everybody you have the crowd now that's kind of like fucking with MASH, but then you have the divine visionaries. Like this is a really good point that you're bringing up because that's right. They were trying to just kill this man, but then you had people speak out against that. We could assume, I don't remember exactly what Wahlberg said during that stretch of storytelling, but you made a good point. We could assume that he would have been the one to protect, you know, MASH. Wahlberg would have been the one to protect MASH if they really did try to make a move on him. And now, if his magic really is gone, that creates like, you know, that moral situation that's kind of expanded out to not just the people involved that want to kill MASH and like the governmental body that, you know, supports that way of thinking. But now you have, you know, societal backlash that you have to worry about if you do make a decision like that after what we've seen in the events of this arc. So that is a really cool situation.
And Wahlberg might even bring up is like, oh no, you want to kill me, you want to kill MASH because that's just the way things are. Congratulations, my magic was stolen from me, and all you're doing is cleaning up Innocent Zero's messes for him.
Right.
You think that I'm gonna be the only one? Hell no.
Right.
I just had the best power.
Yeah.
You all will be next.
Yo.
Any one of you could be next. And are you going to throw yourself upon the pyre for your so-called like societal pride of having magic or not having magic? Like,
yeah. This could get really deep, man.
It could get deep. It
Yeah,
could get
definitely
deep.
could.
I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Wow.
I think I don't know. I think that was about all I had for this chapter of Mashle, though.
Yeah, that's all I had too.
All right. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and jump right into chapter 301 of Black Clover. Those feelings.
Doki
And, I like how Lieb in this, he's like, yo, what is she doing here? Like, what the fuck? He's like, without Devil Union, we don't stand a chance, bro. We got to get out of here. He's like, this ain't our place to be right now, bro.
Yeah,
we
man.
got lucky last time. This is...
Yeah.
Lieb's just like, nah, dog, I ain't about it. This is a supreme... This is who I hate, but we're not going to deal well with this. I like this bad guy just because, like, there aren't very many... And within the series, this is mostly like I would say it's a power manga, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like a lot of clashing and blasts and whooshes and zaps.
Yeah.
I like this because it is debuffs.
Yeah.
Debuffs, AoEs, DP, like DPS, poisons, etc.
Dots.
Like I like that. Yeah, the dots. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like if I'm thinking about it like as a gamer, I'm like, yeah, this is a really cool bad guy. I like Megikila is like probably my favorite devil so far. Even if like her host was probably one of the more boring ones.
Sure.
But I do like that, like the way the devil works, because like since the one that could manifest things, it spoke out loud. This one's been really cool. Like I like it so far.
Yeah, there's a little bit more, you know, nuance to the effects that we're seeing of their magic. You know what I mean? There's a little bit more depth, you know, compared to the word devil, from what I remember anyway. I like how also like he hits her with the demon destroyer sword. I'm pretty sure is the one that like, you know, sucked the explosion effect out. But he's like, that wasn't enough though. You know what I mean? Like we managed to keep her but exploding, but she's still got all sorts of, you know, shit going on here, which is cool that it's not just like a boop, you're good now.
Her kind of like chest or mantle reminds me of that creepy Arankar from Bleach.
Oh, Ukiora?
The one that had like the tree fruit, like he could like regenerate instantly, and then he gets killed by Kurotsuchi with the time dilating poison.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's weird, like the weird sea anemone kind of thing. She just like looks poisonous, like like a freaking jellyfish a little bit.
Like a zillion.
Yeah, no, but like
that's cool.
Yeah, but like the art was like pretty good. It was a lot less confusing
Sure.
Like I remember during like the Titan, like the Twin Titans fighting, that was kind of chaotic. That was cool, but like it was pretty chaotic. And then this one's like a little more straightforward, and like I can kind of follow the pacing. I feel like
Right.
maybe they maybe dedicated a little more time to this
I like the
section.
double spread on 10 and 11 because like in the background you have that you know, illustration style that you know we usually see in like large spanned out, you know, panels inside of Black Clover, where usually I have an issue inside of that with like knowing what's going on because everything always feels like too light or like the lines aren't thick enough or something, and it's like hard for me to really tell exactly where things are, and like the depth of the image I feel like suffers from things like that. But this on 10 and 11 got a nice splash of stark blacks inside of these wings that really add to the contrast and help you kind of like see the whole image a little bit easier, at least for me that's the case. But yeah, art in this chapter, fire.
Yeah, because like page 9, the full 100 devils that she's like shunting into them. I like that a lot.
Incredible
Like
page.
I love the duality. I like the little yin yang kind of like vibe, and the fact that like the armor is white and stuff. It really breaks up the space because I feel like the devils are all like semi monochromatic looking, and a lot of that like Black Cover has a hard task in that it has to like lighten up movies. Like it feels like sometimes it gets to the point where like it's Game of Thronesy, where you just see a night thing and like a couple pinpricks of torches and stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Like I know that this is like supposed to be what it looks like, but I have no idea what this looks like. And so like this is very distinct, very crisp. I feel like maybe he's kind of taken criticisms from his like earlier work, and he's like worked to avoid those kind of discrepancies before. Because it's like I feel like it's definitely improved by like a good margin, and maybe that's just because they had more time to like really plan it out. But it feels really good. Like I love Rill's like Crusade of the Valkyries kind of thing.
Twilight Valhalla.
That's gonna be a weird one where like it feels like a very very video gamey, like Kale or like an ultimate where like Zenyatta's like, hey, you're just kind of healing constantly, and there's gonna be a backlash. Like they might die. A lot of them. Well, it's Black Clover. They're probably not gonna die, but they're probably gonna be wishing they did.
Yeah.
I mean, because I mean, he states all the damage they take is going to come back after the spell, you know, dissipates or deactivates or whatever.
It'd have to have that.
I mean,
this is a little bit
strong.
too convenient for me. So, like, I'm glad that it has a caveat like that. Even with the caveat, I feel like it's still a little bit too convenient for me. But at least there is that drawback there.
Yeah, like what if like Rill like takes all the damage and it's like concentrated on their arms, so they have to like take time off to like rehabilitate and like be able to get their drawing hands back to like a functioning level.
That would be cool.
Like I think that would be a really good consequence.
That'd be tight. Yeah.
Like it's just like the Julius route. Like we're not gonna kill him, but we're gonna pull him back. We're not gonna have him be available to like bail your asses all the time with his like really flexible, really powerful abilities.
Yeah, that would be cool to see a it would be cool after like Spade to just get like okay, let's think about what happened after Spade for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like a like a proper, you know, aftermath arc for something like this, because I'm having a hard time remembering what the aftermath of the elf invasion kind of stuff like looked like, because it's been quite a bit of time now, but I remember it jumping into like the Spade stuff like really quickly. I think we got like the Damnatio stuff with like in court, and then like and then they bounced like right after that to you know to Heart Kingdom, and then you know shit started kind of like hitting the fan like pretty crazy. That Word Devil shit was fucking wild, you know what I mean? Like that was like a really big deal, and I feel like they didn't spend enough time.
He fucked the town up. I mean, we did get a few chapters of like them rebuilding the town.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
That was during the whole Damnatio / like Charlotte, campy, jokey, Yami love shit.
Yes, yeah.
And then they moved pretty quickly into the Spade stuff.
Yeah,
but this would be cool like to get like an extended, you know, like after now we had the Word Devil stuff, now we have like the Spade stuff. we should really have some time after this to see some kind of like consequences of what happened, because we got Gaja, we got Rill and Charlotte, and you have a really good idea, Mello, inside of like how their consequences can be shown, you know what I mean? So I just don't want things to just reset and go into the next arc, you know what I mean, after something like this. And I think that we have a really good reason to think that they won't, you know what I mean, because there's a lot more like things are just the most drastic that they've ever been, and we're actually seeing, you know, people get like
we still
really
don't
fucked
know
up, and we still don't know what else is going to happen on top of that. Absolutely.
Well, that, and we still don't know what kind of state Yami is in.
Yami too,
Or Vengeance,
absolutely, and
you know?
Vengeance, yeah, Vengeance can die for all I care, but yeah, Yami.
I know you were gonna say that. That's what I was just gonna say. I know y'all don't care about Vengeance.
Yeah. But that would still be good. Vengeance would still be good, even though I don't like Vengeance. Consequences in the form of Vengeance would still be good. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to think right now, and as I've stated a million times, and as people love to remind me, my memory of Black Clover isn't the best. You know what I mean? But like, I want to say like the most memorable points of consequence that I remember is Fuego Leon, Julius, and then now we have like, you know, potential inside of like what's going on during this arc. And Fuego Leon was cool, you know what I mean? Like that was drastic at the time, but like I feel like we didn't spend enough time with Fuego Leon before he was removed from the story, you know what I mean? Like he was introduced, fought, and then got fucked up and it was away from the story, like all in the same like, you know, stretch of storytelling basically. You know what I mean?
Basically got him like showing that he was a dope royal.
Yeah.
That wasn't about the fuck shit that like, you know, the Silvas were on.
Right.
And then he stood up, said a dope ass quote before he went out, you know, and then teleported into the circle, came back all fucked up.
Yeah, and that was major for me at the time. Like when those chapters were coming out, I was like, oh fuck, okay, it's real in here. This dude got no arm. He's probably DOA when he gets to the fucking, you know, hospital or wherever they're bringing him to. Like, who knows what can happen in here? And then there just weren't that many more examples after that. And then you bring him back and he's stronger than ever, and it's like, okay. And then you have Julius, you know what I mean? And that was obviously a very polarizing situation, but it's still an instance of consequence because he was effectively removed from the series. He came back with not as much power, so it's still fine. It works. Fuego Leon, Julius, I'd say those are strong examples. Asta's arms didn't really do it for me. And then now we have, you know, potential here for more consequence after Spades. So, and I don't remember
even in Yami's death, like, he passed the katana on, like, and like with that cover spread we got where everybody's in the funeral attire and he's not facing. Like, I still think, you know, it's very possible Yami could die. You know, as much as I don't want to see it,
me neither.
I think it's definitely very possible. And I was going to bring up like captaincy of the Black Bulls if he does. Like, who do you think it passes to? I think everybody votes Asta, right? As far as the Black Bull members,
it's gonna be Knocked.
Yeah,
Knocked.
You got Knocked.
Yeah, Knocked. Yeah,
He's
probably because he is the vice captain.
Yeah, he's the vice captain. Then you get to choose who's gonna be the next vice captain, and that would be important. I feel like some of the Black Bulls will be like, I think I deserve it. Oh, I think I deserve it. You know, oh, I don't want it. You should get this. I don't want it. You should get this. That kind of thing.
I could totally see the scene in Black Clover too, though, where they're just like, yeah, we've all unanimously decided without even speaking to each other that it's going to be Asta. You know what I mean? And he's just like, huh? What? You know, I could totally see that scene like in Black Clover where it's just like he's just not expecting everyone to be like, we choose you, bro. You know what I mean? And like that could be a really wholesome moment.
Yeah, and
it's a tradition that the Black Bulls is run by an idiot.
And it could lend also to the kind of trope where the captain of the squad is more goofy, jovial, and then the vice captain is kind of what really holds it down. You know what I'm saying? He gets it done.
Yeah,
it's that captain
Knocked would get it done.
Yeah, captain gives the order. Lieutenant's about the.
But I also would love to see Knocked as the new captain.
That'd be cool.
And I'm trying to think of maybe who he would appoint as his vice captain out of the squad.
You'd think it would be Asta because they like are cool because they're like devil buddies or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be Zora.
That's one of the ones I was thinking about too.
I would think that, like, because Noct would be like, you're more my speed. You understand what I need to do. And, like, as a guy who literally preps his magic, you understand the logistical necessities of the orders that I'm going to ask you to carry out.
Right.
Whereas the other guys, they're just kind of like, not to, like, talk down on them, but, like, the Black Bulls, a lot of the characters in there are kind of goons. Like, they're just like, we like to fight.
Yeah,
Let's
luck,
go. Like,
Magna.
it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's like these are my soldiers. That's
Yeah.
what they're good for. That's what they like doing. I keep it simple for them so
Yeah.
they don't fuck it up. Like,
Right, right.
um, oh man, it's interesting. Like, I wonder if the princess of the Heart Kingdom is like gonna live. To be
Yeah,
honest,
it's a big question.
like, do you guys think that she's gonna live?
Yeah, I do.
I would say yes as well.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
hard for me
wonder
to
where
ask
that,
questions like that in Black Clover. You know what I mean?
All right.
Like I
Trick
feel
question.
like, yeah, I feel like I'm at a point now where, yeah, I'll be surprised absolutely. But do I ever think characters are going to die? No, it's like One Piece to me at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Let's see. You know, in what like Eagle said last time with the like emotional reactions to things, they seemed a little like maybe to him flat, and that's totally fair. I kind of get that idea from like Noel's like Asta's here and I like him. Like, but I'm on a battlefield and I need to focus. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Cool. Little out of left field. I thought you were sweating, handkerchief to the brow. I'm fighting for my life,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I think the scene is fine for like the declaration or whatever. We knew it was coming. Is it in an awkward spot? Maybe. I definitely wasn't. It wasn't too jarring to me, just because it like I guess it makes sense in the situation. I mean, like this is like her character arc all in one spot. You know what I mean? So it's like Asta, Megikula, and like trying to be better than like what her family thinks she's going to be. Like we already have one of those things out of here. Nozel apologized. Her family fucks with her, getting revenge on the one who killed her mom. Asta, I love you. It's all coming here and like probably like fueling this final Saint stage. You know what I mean? Like all that feels fine. I mean, like I'm not the biggest fan of the situation, but I mean, just for the chapter, I felt like it fit there, which is
it definitely is her arc, and I appreciate that because like I don't feel like a lot of the female characters get like a ton of like spotlight time, like prime time. So I'm glad that Noelle is getting but like I'm glad. Well, she's losing her Sun power. So, I was worried that she was not going to get her prime time.
I feel like this is very common for like earlier 2000s female leads. I think I made a joke in like another group chat. I was like 2002 Weekly Shonen Jump in full effect this week in Black Clover, but I mean, whatever, dude.
It feels that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like I don't have nearly as many issues like with this chapter as I've had with Black Clover chapters, like for what feels like the last 10 or 12 weeks. You know what I mean? I'm at a point now where I'm just like, just show me what you're gonna do, Tabata. You know what I mean? Like we'll see. I'm done.
This is definitely a better chapter for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see what like the final Saint stage is gonna look like. I kind of want to see what like her powers are, like at what seems to be her new peak.
Sure.
I do like that Asta, the main protagonist, is like, hey, I'm just gonna be cut and useless laying over here, artfully posed, you know, Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park style. And it's like, go get him, babe, and it's Noelle's time to shine. Like I do like that little inversion. It's fun.
For sure, because I was definitely in the camp like Asta's here to save the day, you know what I mean? And then now it's like Asta is useless. You know, Noelle, I love you, Asta, but it's hammer time. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get this bitch out of here still. You know what I mean? Like it's all going against what I, very cynically, predicted. So I love when that happens, and I'm here for it. So Tabata, take the wheel.
Yeah. And I don't know, the love declaration in the moment felt a little corny and out of place to me, but like looking back now and kind of rereading over it and just the dialogue, it makes sense at least, and I guess it fits pretty well.
It wasn't like a cart before the horse situation, at least.
Yeah.
So like I appreciate that. Like this has been well established.
Oh yeah, and it's been like a slow burn too. Like we got 300. This is chapter 301. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, like it, like the length of the series makes this chapter, feel good that she's finally getting it out there. She's finally saying it to herself. She's finally acknowledging it. It's what a lot of people were probably like the last thing we were waiting for, from Noelle's character. So it's here. We got it. It's there. It's on the page, and we'll see how Asta takes it.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if he ends up with like her cousin.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
No, Tabata's not gonna do that to us.
It's a love triangle.
Oh man.
Oh man, but they're both pretty cool.
Yeah, Mimosa. Yeah.
Mimosa loves Asta too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I completely forget about that, like, every time. Because Mimosa's barely a character. But yeah, man, this is wild. This is... Yeah. Spade arc, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else?
I think that about does it for me for this chapter here.
Yeah, me too, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and move right into what was probably my favorite fucking chapter this week.
Hell yeah.
Number 321 of Boku no Hero Academia. 3-2-1. From Class A to One for All.
Yeah,
This
man.
fucking chapter slapped.
Big slap. Big slap.
Big feels.
Look at this.
Just
Look
all
at,
the emotional impact in this chapter, bro.
and look at this fucking beautiful color
I
spread
love
that
this
starts
color
the fucking
spread.
chapter.
Yes. All Mecha Might on them.
Mecha Might. Let's
Mecha
go.
Might on them.
Like, I just want to
Ah.
zoom in on this.
Yeah.
It's just like
All mech.
Awesome.
All mech, yeah.
All mech.
I
Oh
love it.
shit. All
I
mech.
love
I
it.
bet you people have definitely said that. I wonder who. I bet you over on Aniki's channel they probably said all mech too.
He's awesome.
Yeah, dude, this is a
so
great page.
good.
Look at Bakugo, with the
I love the
clipboard,
stickers.
like, hey,
Running shit.
yeah,
Yeah, I love his little stickers on it, like
Yeah.
the little bomb on it.
yeah,
I love the kind of like the track backpack on Ita.
yeah,
Like I just love their like outfits. Like it's
Yeah.
a nice color contrast to like the primary like yellows, blues, reds.
hmm And then you just
Nice
go into
change.
cooler teals. Yeah, that's like, dude,
Mhm.
Kohei's color palette has never been an issue. Like, this motherfucker's color game is amazing, and I love this drawing of Ashido. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
Ashido's like one of my
Well-
favorite characters in the class. Love when she gets good
Front and center.
drawings. Yeah,
Something that I also love about the perspective of this is it's literally from the perspective of just like a candid photo, like caught while they're all working on this thing.
yeah,
Like you can see
Oh,
some
it's-
people just working, doing their thing. Mina, obviously like posing for the picture. Deku
Right.
and Uraraka like, what's up? Like
Yeah.
Bakugo's just not even paying attention. He's
yeah.
Sarah's up there working on it. Like
Yeah, you could tell
It's
someone was like, "All right, say cheese," and then like these
Yep.
are the ones that heard it and like
Oh,
turn into
yeah.
like and
It's
then everyone
gotta
else is just
Kaminari,
like, yeah, yeah.
It's got to be that gal that's like my babies.
Where?
The inventor girl. I imagine.
Oh,
it's like
Hatsume Mei, yeah,
Yeah, I imagine that the photographer is Hatsume.
Mhm.
And then,
Ooh, yeah,
Just because like the way it is,
Yeah.
it's like
Something-
the subject matter for sure.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
something funny up top too is Hagakure, like trying to pose for the picture, almost falling off the beam, and Sugar Rush catching her.
Oh,
No,
I
it's
didn't
a-
even
it's-
notice that.
And he's such a
Yeah,
protective big brother character. Like
Yeah.
it's like very much shows their focus, their
Yeah.
style. Man,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. And
Yeah.
I think it's funny that they're like setting up Shoto to be like the pilot.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it's not Midoriya, it's not Bakugo, it's Shoto. He's gonna
Nice.
pilot all mech.
Well, that's my MC anyway. So no, I'm kidding. Deku's my
Aizawa
MC.
up
Deku's
here,
my MC.
man.
Let me hold on. Let me bring that back now. I love
Aizawa up
Todoroki
here,
as
man.
pilot though.
Still got a leg.
Twitter, stay your hand.
Yeah, Aizawa. It's probably prosthetic. He's got pants on.
You think
They've
he's
got
a
an all mech. They
prosthetic
can
leg
build a
now?
hand.
They've got an all mech.
Yeah, they got
I
an
mean, they've
all
got
mech.
dope ass- He's probably
You think
got
they can't build a
bionic.
hand?
Yeah,
He's probably got bionic prosthetic on him. Like they
Yeah.
got some dope ass hero technology.
Yeah,
they
he's got some
somebody
tight
building him
shit.
some shit.
Yeah.
Some,
Oh, man. I
some-
can't wait
He's
for
got that
Aizawa's.
motherfucking. What the fuck? Why am I blanking on it? Goddamn, Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah, Automail.
He's got that auto mail. Yeah, he's got that auto mail.
Yeah.
You know, so like they talk about how Aizawa has like that memory metal material for his like raps. I'm waiting for him to get an auto mail that just shoots a big like net of that stuff or spools it out. Like I'm waiting for that moment where
that'd be cool.
Or like a rocket hand.
Rocket hand.
And I'm a nerd.
Rocket leg.
Hell yeah, but moving into the events of the chapter, I guess we just obviously start right off with them catching what's this guy's name again? Dictator. Yeah, like is this going on during the fight?
Yeah, like mid-fight.
Because we get we get Kirishima saying like, "Oh, there's so much I want to say to him, I can't, get up there," type shit.
Yeah.
But
everybody that wasn't there last chapter, for the most part, gets their shit in this chapter. And
we didn't get anything from motherfucking my goat, Mr. motherfucking Naval Saber.
Oh shit. Where's Aoyama at?
Where's Aoyama at? He's in the chapter with Kirishima.
Oh yeah.
They run off away from Endeavor to like presumably try and go reach Deku.
Oh yeah, page 4.
Yeah, on page 4 here.
I like that Endeavor's just like, hey, this is important for them. Let's not interrupt. Let's let them do their thing.
Yeah.
This needs to be done by the kids.
These are the ones that are in the zone right now,
This chapter got me emotional.
It did. It did, for real. And something that was like super, and in a lot of different ways, because as I'm going to say, this was hella haunting for me on page 5. This bottom panel, as he's thinking more and more like your turn. Your turn. And it's like we see through this visual effect of the kanji on him, your turn. It's like so ingrained into every fiber of his being at this point that he like literally cannot even escape it.
Wow, and that was well said.
Like, it's just, that was powerful to see that. Like, I'm like, damn. And as he's saying, like, you all can't keep up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a stack. I didn't notice the characters on his body.
Oh yeah,
I didn't. Yeah, I don't know how I missed it, but like I definitely did not think about what you just said. I was like, oh shit. Like damn, yeah, there's kanji all over him. Yeah.
I love how it like All For One really turned a phrase that was used to motivate and like reinforced the foundation of Midoriya's psyche and flipped it around him and turned it into something that's engraved in him and tortures him.
Yes, like, and it was on purpose probably because he was there for the your turn, probably deduced that he was talking to the next inheritor.
Right.
And he's like, it's your turn, bitch.
Yeah.
What's up? Now you fucking with me. Yeah. And now I'm fucking with you.
It's like, how many inheritors have I fought? It's your turn. Let's go.
You're a pebble on the roadside. Like, dude, give me my fucking power back.
See, this chapter to me really epitomizes how I feel like Deku's really grown, because I feel like a lot of the complaints I get out of like My Hero Academia from like other fans is that like, oh, Deku's, too soft. He's a bit of a soy boy or something. That he's too sweet. He's never like hard or has an edge. And I'm like, no, he's had an edge.
Right.
He's had a drive. He's had a core. It is still, covered in the softness that he allowed himself to be, that he felt was natural. And now he's pushed to a point where he's like, that softness doesn't help me. He's like, all of you can't keep up. And he looks like he's in agony. He hates saying that, but he's doing his best to push them away.
Yeah. And he's not saying it because he wants to make them feel bad. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people could probably take that, line of dialogue as him like, I don't know, maybe being a little
looking
bit
down on him.
Yeah, it's
like
not
looking
like,
at
he's
like
literally just worried.
He genuinely believes it and is worried about them. Yeah.
He's terrified for them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just fought a hired gun, and you guys are like not listening to me.
A hired gun that blew up after I beat her. So like, let's chill.
And she would have murdered all y'all before I beat her.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just, I like that part. It's just, he looks like he's so worried. He's in so much pain.
Like, can't you guys hear me, bro? Like, I'm trying to keep y'all alive. Like, y'all are gonna get yourselves killed. I can't have that. Like, that's what I see in his eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love the kind of like throwbacks to like the early chapters because like it reminds me of Stain a little bit. Like Midoriya looks like Stain in this kind of arc where
Wow.
he's a hero. He has a goal. He has a vision. He is correct, but he's losing his way.
He's trying to do
And
the
he's
right thing
becoming
the wrong way, right?
yeah, and he's becoming much more like Stain. And it's just like, and they're fighting him. And then I love the throwback to the actual Stain arc where Ida is just like, hey, man, helping people
Remember me last
unasked for
time? Yeah,
is the
what's up?
essence of a hero, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
That kind of lends to, I don't know if we talked about this on the show or if I'm remembering it because my buddy, shout out to my buddy Zach, brought it up to me.
Shout out Zach, that's the guy.
He was like, what do you think about Stain potentially being Deku's next mentor?
that would be so cool.
And that could be a cool spin on the situation we saw with Stain on the roof with All Might. We didn't know kind of what he was going to do. He could potentially approach All Might like, what's up? Like, I respect you. You're a true hero. I don't want no smoke with you.
Yeah.
I respect him because he showed me that he also is a true hero.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who can keep up with him at this point. Would you be willing to like pass that torch to me?
I remember having a conversation about this possibility a long time ago in Anitube Con for the My Hero Academia panel that we had for Anitube Con however long ago, and it was like me, Aniki, and then like some of his people from the church and things like that. And I can't remember exactly what we said.
Church.
Yeah, the Church of MHA. Yeah. And I can't remember. I can't remember exactly like the details of the conversation, but I'm gonna go back and watch that because we said some like really cool fucking things, especially Aniki and his people directly related to Stain. You know what I mean, and his potential as an ally. Maybe not so much as like, yo, I'm taking you under my wing, let's go. It was a little bit more nuanced than that in the conversation. But
Or
yeah,
maybe
definitely.
not even a mentor, but a protector, rather.
Sure,
like,
sure.
I can run with him and make sure that he's not stretching himself too thin because
Yeah.
I can actually keep up with him.
Yeah, either way, Stain like going from like a directly antagonistic role to like one that we kind of understand a little bit more now that we see Deku in a similar situation, I think would be cool to see in the storytelling. Him come, Stain come into the fold in some form or fashion, even if it's not exactly what we're talking about right now. I feel like we have a very different Stain, now in the story than we did back then. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you never know.
I wonder because like Endeavor's like, hey, there might be other hired guns. What if Stain is one of the hired guns? That's just like, hey, this is the thing, and he chose to be part of it, but he's like not completely on board with One for All. He doesn't trust gifts like Nagant, so he doesn't get booby trapped, and he's just waiting and he's watching and he's witnessing this kid. He's just like trying to push his friends away. He watches his friends take him down out of a place of concern, and he's like, you know what? You've grown, Ida. Like, maybe you do have what it takes to be a hero. And he's just like, hey, you can try to capture me now. I'll fucking cut you down.
Yeah.
But I would like that if Stain is seeing this moment from Ida and like respecting him a little bit.
I think that we
would be a
can-
cool moment.
Yeah, I think
But
we can
I
assume that
also
Stain is
think-
watching all of this happen because they've
Yeah.
shown him like in the cracks, you know what I mean? Like, in an alley, like offhandedly, like every couple chapters or so. So yeah.
I think he's coming back. I think he's for sure.
I think he already has too much respect for Deku to where if All for One did approach him with the offer, like, you want to hunt my man's down, he'd be like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But he could also maybe kind of go in a sort of undercover role with it
Mhm.
and like accept the offer, knowing that he's going to play it at a different angle.
Oh,
like you were
damn.
saying, Mello. Who
Yeah,
knows?
so then maybe maybe he's watching right now because he's waiting for an opportunity to talk to Deku because he did take that offer and he watched what happened with Deku versus Nagant. And he's like, oh, I got a bomb in my neck. This is the Suicide Squad right now. Like, okay, well now, like, I definitely don't want to die, so now I have to talk to Midoriya and kind of like work together with him to like fucking make sure I don't get exploded, and plus whatever else
But
we were talking about.
at the same
earlier with
time,
his
it's
character.
like
Mhm.
All for One almost had like an ability to sense that Nagant was talking to Deku
sure.
and being turned by him. So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
that
yeah.
happens with Stain, he's just going to get blown up.
Right.
I think I'm a little more along the lines of Mello's thought there, where he wouldn't take the gift.
Yeah, me too.
He'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need all that. I'm cold enough.
But then, like, now here's a situation where it's like, okay, so All for One approached you as a candidate for this, and you said no, and he just let you walk. I mean, like, I can understand all the other Tartarus people that get broken out and then they just run away and All Might doesn't want them or just doesn't run into them for whatever reason. But, like, I want to assume, like, if he's approaching you, it's because you're either going to do what he wants or you're going to die right there. You know what I mean? So unless Stain got the fuck out of there in some kind of, like, wild way or something, I don't know. But that's just what I assume of All for One.
Maybe or maybe not. Like, the only, for me, I think the only reason All for One ever feels like he really needs to kill anybody is if he wants their quirk. Like, everybody is kind of just fodder to him. Like, he's like, oh, you don't want to help me out?
Yeah.
There's 10 other people who will. Like, whatever. I don't care about you. Maybe if he knew what Stain's quirk was, he might be a little more inclined to.
Yeah, because Stain's shit is nothing to fuck with. Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be terrifying if it had like Toga with Stain's ability would be horrifying. She'd be so powerful. Like, if
she has
she
a
had the
blood-based
combo,
ability too. Yeah, that's right.
She does.
Yeah.
She could turn into people, and then if she can get some blood, she paralyzes them. Then she gets more blood, and then she can just turn into someone. Like, yeah, brutal stuff. But maybe, like, you know, they talked about how Eri is becoming more powerful. So, like, maybe Stain does have a bomb in his neck, and he's like, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to be a pawn to the ultimate evil, in my view.
The Eri thing, I don't know.
Like, maybe they like defuse it somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't want Eri to just be like that plot device that like removes stakes from situations, but like
because I'm thinking they can't go too crazy with it, because like Eri gets to a point where she can just like rewind Mirio to get his quirk back, rewind Aizawa, and now he's got his leg back.
And the Mirio stuff was already very polarizing inside of the community, you know what I mean? So like when Eri, you know, did that like kind of off screen, you know, for the most part, you know what I mean? Like that pissed a lot of people off. I was kind of fine with it, I guess, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, now that we know that she has these capabilities in a trained, disciplined form, now, you know, it's kind of like the issue that you run into over in the West, where you have all of these wild characters like Franklin Richards, who are reality warpers, and they can literally just think things into existence or think things out of existence. And as a reader, you're like, okay, well, why doesn't he just solve every conflict? You know what I mean? One, obviously, you know, they're not going to do that because that wouldn't be, you know, entertaining or compelling, but also you have to make it make sense why they're not there if you're not going to use them, if they exist in the world. So you have to write Franklin Richards, you know, in a different dimension when something else is happening, or you have to give some kind of caveat to this wildly capable character that you will think about whenever the world is in danger and go, where is that person? You know what I mean? So Eri, you know, being at the place that she's at right now, I feel like we can't really help but think that if anybody does get seriously injured or anything like that, that Eri will be there to kind of like help them. But obviously she's off site and you have to bring the person to them. They have to survive, you know, so there's still things that make it tense, but it does create an awkward kind of situation when you think about conflict in My Hero Academia, knowing Eri is there in a disciplined form. You know what I mean?
She does seem like she's like the new recovery girl, because I feel like recovery girl is going to get decommissioned or killed off, or just be too old to be like, there's, you know, the world's at war. There's been an apocalypse to a sort of way of life now. She's stretched super thin, so Ares going to be kind of the thing, but the whole caveat, she can undo damage, but it has to be somewhat recent. So like Stain getting a bomb in his neck, that's recent enough that they could do it, but it's not like they couldn't do it for Aizawa. They wouldn't be able to do it for like,
well, they did for Mirio, and Mirio lost his quirk who knows how long ago, and then she just had to train with the frogs,
and then she
like,
just never got it.
Well,
like, I love that hope, but like never actually achieving it, and then
she did,
Mirio just being a gadget here. Oh, he hacks his quirk.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, it was see, it was so quick and so out of nowhere. That's why it was so polarizing, because it's so easy to forget, because he was there, got his quirk back, boxed some Nomu, and then, like, you know, we haven't really seen him again since then, so it's definitely like wild. Easy to forget. Yeah.
See, now I was thinking of too many constraints.
Right.
But that's just how my brain works.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I mean, though. It's like, now Eri is there. Now Eri is here. She's already achieved a very drastic, like, probably the one thing that, like, we knew that she was going to do and that we wanted her to do. You know what I mean? So if we already have that example there, it's like, how are they going to use it in the future then? Yeah.
Well, you know, you'd like to think there's some sort of like drawback or caveat, because with Recovery Girl, she can only do so much, and then she's like super physically exhausted or like
something like that.
Something like that. So, you know, now that like Chisaki's not just force activating her quirk and she's actually using it herself, there must be some type of either physical or like mental maybe drawback where she can't overuse it to the point we're thinking where it's like there's
where it
gonna
gets
be no
comical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
like,
and
maybe
we
if
have
there's some
all of
damage,
I have
she
all
can
of
maybe come in and reverse it, but like I don't think it's gonna happen too often.
I don't
Hopefully
think
not
that
anyway.
I have all the faith in the world that Kohei's not going to bring Eri to like a comedic level of, you know, rewind and recovery, and you know, like I don't think he would do that. I think he knows what he's doing, and that he put Eri in the story for a reason. It's not going to hinder, you know, too many things or make things feel too weird. I feel like he's got a really good plan of how he wants to go about that, because everything has been really tight, you know, inside of My Hero Academia for the most part. You know what I mean? There's not too much hand wavy shit going on. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's very self-aware in that way.
Yeah, he treats her very delicately. But like, there's just something of like the art in this chapter is very evocative of like various things they've done in like previous arcs. Like I love that Mineta and Suyu are doing stuff in tandem.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like the Jumpstar arc.
Jumpstar. What was going on in that?
Not Jumpstar. It was the one where like the Nomu was first introduced. I'm
Oh
butchering the name.
yeah. The first attack on Yue. Yeah.
The first attack, because I like because the exploding ice kind of reminds me of the big splash of the waves when they were messing around on the ship, and like they even have a little like cameo with Mineta as like, hey, I liked you better when you were scared and working with us. Instead of doing it all on your own. Like I think it's really smart. I really liked the kind of like the following pages. It reminds me of the training session where they're jumping over the buildings and stuff. To do racing, and then like when they use the combination of like 0% acidity, freezing it, making the wave, and then choosing Ida mimics the time they rescued Bakugo, and they chose someone that they would listen to. And who is Deku's best friend? It's Ida. Like, well, I love that.
What's even more powerful than that about them choosing Ida, or you know, maybe Ida being even the one that said like, I need to do this based on the situation, is like the juxtaposition to the Stain situation where Ida was like, stay the fuck out of my fucking
affairs.
Like, this is my business. I gotta handle this. He fucked my brother up, and I'm gonna get revenge. Don't help me. And like, aside from all that, Todoroki and Deku, you know, the two main people, like Todoroki and Ida here going after Deku. Todoroki and Deku, aside from all the shit Ida said, went and helped him. Got through to him in that moment. Like, you can't isolate yourself in this way, and like, you need to get help from the people who are here for you. And Ida saying this, basically the same message to him. And I think, you know, this quote from Ida might even be a direct quote from Deku in that chapter where he saved him from Stain. Because giving help that's not asked for is what makes a true hero. That's so powerful that it came from Ida.
For real.
Just given the juxtaposition back to that moment. And like, they're both just in tears here, and like Deku finally letting go. And crying, you know, and we get that goes back to the dialogue from Bakugo, I think, where he's like, you're so like hell-bent on this life you think you got to live that you won't even let yourself cry. You know, it's just like
everything.
Oh, man, that was
the
so
perennial
powerful.
crybaby of my entire life. Like, you won't, like, because he was like, I loved that like Deku was able to like healthily expose his emotions. Right. And so like, for him to bottle it up like that was against his character and not healthy. And I like that the series recognizes that the vulnerability is real.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even the placement of the chapter title at the end of the chapter on the final 2 pages was like so powerful, because right under that final panel with Ida and Deku is that from Class A to One for All, man. Like, fucking Kohei was in his goddamn bag this chapter.
I want
For
Kohei
real.
to direct movies. I feel
You
like
want
this
him
is
to-
I feel like this is the kind of shit, like just like his compositional the way that he composes chapters just feels like a movie like a lot of the time. And like the dramatic inserts that he does in the form of putting the chapter title on the last fucking page. It's like decision making like that. It's like this dude's creative as fuck, bro. And it's not like we
Yeah.
never see that. You know, it's like we've never seen the chapter, you know, of a page somewhere other than the first page, you know what I mean? But or the chapter title somewhere other than the first page. But it's just like everything like that Kohei does artistically, just like it makes me feel like he would
He
be a
keeps
cold-blooded
doing it.
director. Yeah,
We do-
He keeps doing it, like
Yeah.
like with like Endeavor's Redemption, right? The
Mhm.
title card near the end, where it's like Endeavor and the family
Yep.
meet. The kind of like there was like a bittersweet reunion or whatever it was called.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because I think, Knox, what you said about how we've seen it, in other chapters or from other manga or whatever. But I do think, thinking back, that this is a technique Horikoshi utilizes often in the chapters where
Yeah.
he'll
I feel like we see it a lot.
He'll put chapter titles on certain pages that match up with like what you're seeing in the events of the chapter.
Yeah.
Like pretty often, I feel like.
Yeah, I can think of a couple examples off the top of my
Yeah.
head just now. So, yeah, man, put Kohei on a movie, man.
Can we just like talk about like the Matrushka like maneuvers that they prepared to like get Ida to?
Dude, yeah, like let's just talk about
Deku?
the art in general, like the paneling. I just want to point out like the paneling on like page 6, like super sick with like Froppy's like tongue like going across multiple panels, you know what I mean? And like I think that's what that is. But yeah, like just like that whipping panel at the bottom of like page 6, and then like the way that Kohei puts characters in the gutters of the panels. I mean, a lot of manga could do that, but it just like feels so like aesthetically perfect on Kohei's pages, more so than I feel like in a lot of other manga that I see. Because you see character drawings pop out, outside of the panel like all the time. You know what I mean? Like in the gutters and shit in between panels. So like that's not new, but like his artistic sense is just so fire. You know what I mean?
It's so good. Like
Yeah.
even on page 7, right? Like Mineta hitting him with the beads from behind, sharing a speech bubble with himself into the next panel,
Yeah.
having Midoriya like look down at him because that's the angle he's actually looking at.
Yes.
And you hear like Mineta say all this stuff, and like I love that the next panel is Midoriya shutting his eyes, hiding from the truth, like trying to
Yes.
shut it all out. Like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And even going on to the next page with Uraraka,
Mm-hmm.
Somebody he's very close to, obviously has been since day one. Like when she's trying to say words to him, like he can't even look at her. He can't even open his eyes.
Yeah, he doesn't even. Oh, yeah. Oh,
He
yeah.
can't.
Eyes are
He
closed the
cannot
whole
face her.
time around Uraraka. Wow, I didn't
He
notice
cannot
that.
face her,
Yeah.
period. And he
Did
knows
not
what she's
face her.
thinking.
Yeah. Wow.
He knows what she's thinking because they had that conversation about Bakugo. So it's like
Mhm.
Yeah.
he knows that he can't even like look at her without like doing that. But like, and then like pages 10, 11, and the big spread on 12 and 13. So Acid Man, protective coating, it really kind of threw me off. I was like, okay, what's going on? They're making a sled? No, they put Ida inside that sled, froze it, used Todoroki to launch them forward using the heat wave, because he does the flash freeze to freeze the acid coating.
Uraraka
And they-
touches him.
Yep.
And then Araka hits it with the thing, gets the whole thing flying, and then Shoto is done after being flung. And then it's just, I thought it was just Bakugo on that thing. And I was like, okay, so he's going to be the one to save him. And he's like, no. And then he blows up the whole Acid
Yeah.
Man, frozen Acid Man.
Yeah.
And it's Ida inside that sled that they froze. Like, this guy held his breath.
Yeah, and she
while
brings
they
down the
used-
acidity to like 0.1% so that it doesn't burn through Ida inside of it. Yeah, wow. See, so it's like it's literally like a spaceship. The spaceship goes up and then the rest of it like falls down while just like the tip continues or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah,
it felt
and
like that
just
so
this-
much.
Yeah.
This blasting speed turbo cluster into the like grabbing of Ida's boots, and then
Yeah.
another fucking and like sends his ass up at Mach 1. He's like,
He's got the G-force face. Dude.
Yeah.
It's great. And I love that his armor is fucked up because
Yeah.
honestly, of the force of this speed.
Yeah,
and the force of just
explosion
getting
probably from the cluster.
exploded from
Yeah.
behind, like being unable to like escape the impact while being encased in frozen acid, like that's nuts.
But the fact that they can pull this off, because like this is a lot going on here, and this is very calculated. This is like teamwork in, you know, the best teamwork ever. And on top of that, you handled everything in the heat of the moment in a way that didn't really hurt Ida at all. You know what I mean? Like you blew this man, like you shattered, you know, like you blew him up. You know what I mean? Like you guys have that much control, you know, like of the situation and of your quirks and everything.
Yeah.
That he came out of this like pretty much unharmed. For being encased in ice and blown up, like it says a lot about like how far they've come physically. You know what I mean?
With Dynamite's cluster bomb, like carpet bomb attack, like holy shit.
I love the drawing on the cluster too. It's so like sparkly, but like there's no like CGI like sparkle like effects or whatever word I'm looking for. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, penmanship like for the most part, like
nice
entirely.
and
Like that's a
clean.
cool drawing. You know what I mean? Is what I'm saying basically.
It definitely like uses that space really well. It reminded me of that one exploding guy from Siren. A little bit.
Wow.
Like, it reminded me of that like carpet bombing attack that he did at one point.
I haven't thought about
was-
Siren in a long time, bro. That's a throwback.
Yeah, like it threw. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't remember exactly what you're talking about from Siren, but just hearing the fucking title Siren,
Mhm.
oh fuck, 2012, 2013.
yeah.
Ah, damn.
It was like one of the first major bad guys, and his whole thing was that he could just wave his arm and things would explode. Like,
Right.
Hell yeah.
nuts. But I love Ida using his stuff as a jetpack and like sacrificing his armor, his glasses, everything just to get to
This hand.
like it hurt them to get to him.
Mhm.
Like they sacrificed themselves to get to him, and I love that.
Yeah.
I like the successor you know, meditating on that stuff, and I love because like the
Those who share
reaffirmation.
his resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Those who can match his pace.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
fucking
man. Yeah, this was the best chapter this week for sure. I want to say. I
Yeah.
think this is my favorite one.
As excited as I am about Jujutsu Kaisen, this was hands down my favorite chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
It's-
my hero is just in a climactic emotional point in character arcs. You know what I mean? So like that's where Kohei is really in his bag. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like Jujutsu is setting things up. Like it's back and that's hype, but it's more so setting things up than like this obviously very dramatic, you know, character arc. You know,
like the line.
convergence. Yeah.
I love the reaffirmation of like, hey, I wanted to help him as if he wanted to take my hand. I love like if Deku can feel that for Shigaraki, then
Yeah.
Deku should be able to accept it for himself.
It's a good
Yeah.
And I
point.
love that he's finally kind of accepting that because he sacrifices himself every time for others.
Right.
Like Deku's biggest flaw is that he can't take care of himself.
Yeah.
Personally, he'll martyr himself to like succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will. We've seen him do it.
Yeah.
For the first like
Heroes to a
150
fault.
chapters, he had
Dude,
broken
first
limbs
5
every chapter.
First 5 chapters. Hey, I'm doing the entrance exam. Oh my god, my arms. And
Hero
I
to a
like
fault,
this
man.
Yeah.
on page 17. I really like the line. I will not. Ingenium the hero will dash across the land to take a lost child by the
I was
hand.
gonna bring that up. That's
Oh.
Ida's bar, man.
The fact
That's
that
my-
he's the fact that he says this line of dialogue as Ingenium and not like as Ida to Deku, I feel like does a lot because not only are you reinforcing like the heroic aspect of what you're doing, you know what I mean? Like I am a professional hero. Professional heroes do this. You know what I mean? And he's still a friend to Deku, and that's obviously why he's here in this situation. But just the icing on the cake is like speaking as a hero and not as Ida is just like
Well,
massive for the end of the chapter. Yeah.
also
Right.
the subtle reminder that Deku is still a fucking child.
Thank you.
Will dash across the land to take a lost child by the hand. Like
Yeah.
my guy, you're fucking lost, bro, and we're still kids. Like,
we're still
let us
kids.
help you out, bro.
Fire.
I love that moment. It's like, we're still kids. Let us help you.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
We're friends. We're
a great
peers.
point, Eagle. Wow.
Thank you for catching that. That was the part that I was actually like really trying to run up to. I was like, not to be a Pac-Man and just gobble up everything in sight. But I'm really I'm jazzed up about this chapter.
Yeah,
for real. This was a great fucking chapter. But I think that's about all I had for it.
I think I'm good too.
I'm spent.
All right.
Good shit.
Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and get right into the Peace Daily Stone. Chapter 1020 of One Piece. Robin versus Black Maria.
Look at this cover page.
Yeah, this cover page like threw me for real. I was like, yo.
Yeah, I was like, I guess your hair does totally look like illustrated tempura. Never thought about it before.
Right.
I just like that the request was by a guy called 420 Land.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I was like, yeah, Stoner Dream
What
right
the
there.
fuck,
It's
bro?
like, please, can you do this?
That is definitely
I think about this
Stony
all
Baloney
the
nerd.
time, and I need to see it on the page.
Maybe I got really hungry one day and I saw his hair and I was like, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Wonder if I could put that in a fan mail.
Yeah. 420 Land. I wonder. Well, never mind.
What?
I don't know if that has anything to do with with 420 stuff or related
Wait,
things.
is there a
but
hidden
I'm like,
meaning to the number 420?
maybe you know what I mean. Like obviously like our minds go like somewhere right away. But I was like thinking, I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure like all the people that get these requests accepted are like Japanese people, and that's why I was like, never mind, because I'm pretty sure like people just smoke weed everywhere. You know what I mean? Like where you are doesn't really like matter. I know it's a lot stricter in Japan when it comes to drugs and those kind of laws, but just like 420 Land, I like automatically thought like, is this an American request? You know what I mean?
Straight edge, clean living.
Yeah, but I don't think it really matters where you are. But yeah, great request.
But yeah, moving into the chapter,
Yeah.
we get immediate confirmation on what Yamato's fruit is. The mythical version of the dog fruit, the model
Makami.
Okuchi
Oh wait,
no
Okuchi no
Makami.
Makami.
Okuchi no Makami,
Mhm.
a rare mythical wolf, which is also a guardian spirit of Wano.
Yep.
Fits with the fact that she wants to protect it, obviously. Or
Yeah.
rather,
One of the
boundaries.
protector spirits. If you ever played the video game Okami, that's like a shortening of the name.
Yeah. Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't even
So,
know that. That's fire.
which game?
Firewolf
Okami,
man,
remember like the white wolf that with like the fire tail
and it
and
could
like
paint
and
its
it
way
could paint
through.
its way through like shit. Yeah.
It was like an early Wii game, I think.
It was on PS2.
PS2? Oh,
Yeah.
word.
I'm pretty sure the one that I remember, Okami PlayStation. Let's just do this right now before
I need to know.
it's gonna drive me fucking crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, this was 2006. So yeah, PlayStation 2.
Dating myself, followers.
Yeah.
Hey.
Everybody
we
knows
just
we're
get,
old as fuck.
Right. We just get some more kind of dialogue from Kaido. He's trying to sway Yamato over to his side. Like, listen, why don't you just side with me, run Wano, keep this weapons factory shit going? Like, it'll be all right.
Darth Vader, Luke
Yamato's like-
Skywalker type shit.
Yamato's like, nah, my G, we about to defend this country.
Yeah. About to do the things that Odin would do. So take this Namuji Glacier Fang, rah, and then it goes into this like really cool like explosion. But no, it goes into this like really cool. It goes into this really cool like explosion that like totally makes a yin yang symbol almost. You know what I mean? Which and I saw this really cool fucking tweet on Twitter related to man, who said it? Oh, I just want to pull it up right now. It was so cool. I should have remembered that before the conversation, but someone broke it down like Tama, Yamato, and like pretty basic, and like all the other utility characters, like basically all like represent something in like ancient Japanese lore you know, and it all fit in like perfectly with like, oh yeah, Marco was included because there's the tiger inside of Zoro, there's the pheasant inside of Marco, there is, you know, obviously Yamato and what he's supposed to be. I can't remember the name of the fruit off the top of my head, Okuchi no Makami, which all goes into this like clash of good and evil and balance, and like it was just a beautiful thread, you know, and like, and I was like looking at this page, and it's like, oh man, it's making a fucking yin yang ball explosion, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that dude is like spot on with what he was saying on Twitter inside of that analysis, but
yeah,
cool. like the Okuchi no Makami thing,
yeah,
it's actually about like one of the stories is that there was a wolf spirit that was worshipped in Shintoism at the base of a mountain, and they talked about how if there's like through neglect, there were several days where they do not feed the wolf, it becomes thin, emaciated, and weak, and they borrowed the wolf and neglected to feed it, and misfortune came to them, to that person from that person, and they were surprised. So I like the idea that, like, you know, Wano is being starved, and it is, you know, reflective of that. It's absolutely super Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But like, I do like the cultural nods. I like a lot of the like guardian beasts, the four cardinal directions that you see in a lot of manga. But this is like really good because like the pheasant, the phoenix, the Byakko, the white tiger.
Oh yeah, you have Seiryu the dragon, Byakko the tiger, Genbu the turtle, and then Suzaku the phoenix.
So I think we haven't.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Yu Yu Hakusho, but that's where I first saw that stuff.
Yeah. And so the turtle can be many things. It's come out in different interpretations. Sometimes like it's a rhino in one series, or a bull in another. It's one of those things. It's definitely a representative, like an earth beast. Yeah, of course.
Going into this scene with Robin, bro, I was scared for a second because I like remembered the Kiku scene, like with fucking, you know, Kanjuro? Yeah, Kanjuro and like Odin and shit. And I was like, oh no, are they gonna get Robin lacking like that? You know what I mean? But no, Robin totally leaned into it and was like, yeah, I know this is Cap, but it's cool to see my people a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, let's go, Robin.
Yeah, this was something too where I was like, she better not be falling for this.
I saw in your reaction.
She's learned and experienced enough to know this is some bullshit. Like, these people are dead, they ain't coming back.
Right.
You know.
I want to say that Kiku should have been too.
Yeah.
I want to say that Kiku shouldn't have succumbed to, you know, that scene. That's something that like I think about like all the time. And
something though we can lend to, you know, a little bit of credence or justification for the Kiku situation is that she also, I believe, was transported through time, right? So for her, way more recent than 20 years, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, for Kiku, it's a lot more fresh, the wound still, like, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost maybe a month or two ago was the last time she, you know, saw Odin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
Robin is probably the most mature of the group.
Sure.
She's had time to like harden her heart and like toughen up and like be emotionally resilient. Like even when Brooks was like, no, don't do it, and she's like, oh, I know, I was really just getting in closer and appreciating the moment for what it was. But I'm bitch slapping all of these guys down. Dude, it was so
Tres
good.
mano! Tres mano! Bat, bat, bat! Hit him with the uppercuts on him and actually fucked him up too. Like, ooh, bloody mouth. But when they pulled out Saul, man, I was like,
it was, man, turning the page into Saul was fucked.
You dirty bitch.
Did it? She gave him the laugh too. Fuck.
Yeah, how?
Oh, man.
Can they mimic like the speech patterns and stuff? I guess that must be a caveat.
It's all a part of the illusion. It's all a part of like, because like, how do they even know to spawn Saul, you know, and Clover and everyone anyway? It has to all be, you know, entirely psychological inside of the mind of of Robin.
Well, I mean, like, I think that like traditionally most like incubus or succubi or deceiver demons all have that thing where they initiate a probe, like a magic tether that reaches into the person, and then whatever like they pump the magic towards the victim, and then the victim's mind produces all the information they would need to create that illusion. It's not specific. It's just it's targeted, but it's
you're gonna
not
think about whatever is like the most potent for you to think about in this moment. And Black Maria obviously would have no control over that because she's never met these characters before. So
especially with like they actually name these characters now, like Nura One, Kunyun, Tenjo Sagari, like White Snake Smile Fruit, Hognose Snake. Like there's always stories about like in Japan about like snake like women that are magically beautiful, the most like your exact type, and then suddenly they're horrible monsters and they're constricting you to death and eating you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then another one of the numbers here, Kunyun.
Yeah. Numbers have been like super underwhelming for me this entire arc so far. I feel like we're probably gonna get like some drastic number shit eventually, hopefully. But I feel like they were kind of like built up to be a little bit more threatening than they kind of have been. Is that they felt? Is that you guys?
I mean, from the syllabus we got, but like they're just big motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're just big motherfuckers, and that's fine if that's all they were supposed to be. It's just me personally. I thought that they were gonna be like this, and it's probably more on me than anything to expect that kind of thing. But usually when you hype up something that long before they're used, you know what I mean, it's because Oda's trying to dunk on you with some crazy shit, you know what I mean, and they got time, you know what I'm saying. But like the ones that we've seen so far, I've just been like, oh damn, that's the numbers, and it's that easy, all right, fine, you know what I mean. It's just a little under.
I mean, they'll probably pop up post Wano. Like they can't kill all of them. They're gonna show up later. Like, oh hey, it's this smile user, or hey, it's this number. They're just giants.
And it is One Piece. Oda loves reusing characters as often as he possibly can.
Hey, you know what? Everyone's a survivor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except for that flame wheel guy.
No.
He's not a survivor. He's
Donut Man.
He's out. Wan Yudo, yeah. He's just like, yeah. I do like the.
Oh. Were you talking about Ace?
No. I wasn't talking about.
Oh, me and Knoxville thought you were just shitting on Ace. We were like, whoa.
No. See, I repressed that trauma. I didn't think about that. I was thinking on the next page, on page 9.
Wan Yudo.
Yeah.
I'm like, flame wheel, a literal flame wheel. And they're like, are you talking about who? And I'm like, what? No. What are you talking about?
I definitely thought you were talking about Ace there. Holy shit. I bet you everybody listening probably did too, because we were talking about characters don't die. And you were like, except for that fight.
That one fire guy. Twitter, stay your blade, please.
They're literally going crazy on the keyboard.
What do you say about my goat?
Hashtag cancel Mellow.
Like dead ass going crazy.
That gif of Kermit the Frog at the typewriter, like holy shit.
Mercy, no.
Funny.
I was just talking about how Brook is just destroying these sentient weapons because they got souls, and that's honestly a little worrisome.
Like I got soul
You're murdering
damage.
a weapon.
Yeah.
You're murdering a weapon. It has a soul now. Confirmed.
Oh, cold soul.
Yeah, well, and so that, this is major, low key. There's like always been speculation about whether like devil fruits carry a soul within them because of the way the devil fruit reincarnation works. This is like damn near confirmation of that, even though this is a smile. They function similarly.
Yeah.
And I do believe the smiles also reincarnate. We've seen it from Caesar Smiley on Punk Hazard, reincarnated into the apple. So they function similarly. Brook is able to manipulate the soul within this smile fruit weapon, which means that there are confirmed souls within devil fruits, in my opinion.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's feeling pretty good right now.
That's major.
That is major.
It also
that's the thing.
confirms weapons having souls as being a thing, not just like along with the devil fruits and the smile fruits and stuff.
How else are they gonna fucking eat the devil fruits? That's like been a major question. It's like, Spandom, like Funk Freed, my sword. It was a sword that ate the elephant devil fruit or whatever the fuck it was. And like when that line of dialogue first came out in the storytelling, I was like, or no, that isn't even the first time we heard it. The first time we heard it was Alabasta with Mr. 3 and
That
and the
dog?
fucking and like
Dog
the
gun?
the dog gun or whatever.
Mr. Four.
Yeah, Mr. Four. Mr.
and
Four. My bad. My bad.
Wiener
Yeah,
dog, Gatling.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the first time we heard about it, I think. And ever since that came out, I was like, bro,
How?
what do you mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah, I was like,
what you mean, brother?
yeah, I'm like,
What you on about?
Yeah, it's an
Well,
inanimate. It's an
actually-
inanimate object, isn't it?
It makes sense that the like Mr. Four has a living weapon, and then these people, the Numbers and Cypher Pole, also have living weapons. Like this is all connected. Like even as far as Alabasta, they had this organization that's numerically themed with like Cypher Pole and stuff.
Oh man, now I'm thinking of O'Hara's theory. He has this crazy theory on his channel about like the true meaning of like One Piece and shit. And there was this drastic thing he said about Anise Lobby, where it's like Anise is like not a word, you know what I mean? But if you take the D, you know, from the will of D and you put it in front of Anise Lobby, now it says denies, you know what I mean? And then he did that. He took the D and he put it in front of One Piece and it said done piece, you know, and there was this crazy theory related to that. But now I'm trying to put the D in front of a whole bunch of fucking words in One Piece. Cypher Pole, D Cypher. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like that dude's theories got me like doing all this fucking crazy shit now when I read One Piece. And it's
I
like,
was just thinking
shout out to
that it was
O'Hara for
interesting
real.
to like have that foreshadowed so far in the series.
Yeah.
Like this is 1,000+ chapters in, and we're just like, oh wait, what?
Yeah.
Like Cypher Pole wants to turn souls into weapons, and I like how they reduce people into numbers. They have a very cruel arithmetic to how they balance the world.
Mhm.
They treat the world like a spreadsheet, and I think that's their version of the Illuminati. Whereas like the protagonists, they're the real antagonists of the series. Because of that, because Luffy is all about heart and like treating people like people regardless, not treating them like a stereotype, not treating them like a number or value.
Mhm.
People inherently have value, and I like that a lot.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
But,
Getting back into this combat though, bruv. This is gonna be really cool to see in animated form because I feel like there's a lot of like position movement. There's a lot of like big attacks in this one, and a lot of like really cool perspectives that we're seeing inside of like Brooks' combat and whatnot. Inside of like the fights that I'm like excited to see. I feel like the fights inside of these like last like 4 chapters are gonna be like massive episodes of, well, I mean, obviously we're inside of the fucking like climax of the conflict or moving towards it, so all of this stuff, like now that the action is really rolling, is just going to be an incredible sight to see inside the anime, because we've been getting a fucking movie every week inside of the fucking anime anyway, so like, but yeah, everything's going to be crazy. But like this fight specifically, I feel like is going to be really cool because fucking, when was the last time that Robin turned up? You know what I mean? And she has such a cool fighting style to be animated. You know what I mean? Like the way that her shit spawns, you know, in the anime and shit. Like and like Brooks' like ice attributes and shit, like, you know, in the anime are super tight so far too. Like this is gonna be one hell of an episode when it's adapted.
I really like it. I love Nico Robin's fighting style. It reminds me of Netero.
Yeah, especially in this Gigante Free. Yeah, bro.
And has she like made a copy of herself a little bit?
Yeah,
before?
she's cloned.
Like,
she's entirely cloned herself in this arc already. Yeah.
Cool. Because I was like, man, that's a big like detailed version of herself. Like,
for
I'm
sure.
used to her just doing hands and legs. And fingers.
This is the first time she spawned like a stand-ish type with like her head giant behind her and things like this. That we're seeing. Yakushiki Kanon. Yeah, this is the first time. This is the first time that we've kind of seen something like this. But yeah, earlier in the arc when she was doing reconnaissance on the Oniwabanshu, they caught her lacking and then like chased her into a corner and then went to go jump on her.
And she was like,
that shit was so drastic, bro. I remember that. God, I hope we get more clone shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was tight to see, you know, just like more solidification of the dynamic between the crew and how much they trust each other, with, you know, Black Maria kind of shitting even more on Sanji here. Like, he's the laughing stock of the whole island now, and he's supposed to be the second strongest dude in your crew, third strongest dude in your crew. What the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, no. he's a kind man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's good. He knew he couldn't beat. She knows, like, the only reason he didn't beat your ass is because of principle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right.
If you didn't have those gazangas, your ass would be on the floor right now, for real.
The line of dialogue here, I just have to bring up the fan translation versus the official translations because it's so fucking egregious. It's been a while since I've like complained about the official versus like fan scan translations in One Piece. I just have to say right here, did I strike a nerve? In the official, did I hurt your feelings? No. He's a very kind man. You don't need to know what it means that Sanji relied upon me for help. He is truly worthy of being the wings of the king of pirates. That's what we get in this in the official. And that's fine. That feels fine. But then remembering the fan scan, did I strike a nerve? Not at all. He's a kind soul, and you'll never understand just how much it means for him to rely on me. He's one of the wings that'll allow the pirate king to soar.
Oh, that's
way
so
better.
Poetic.
Way better.
That's so poetic.
And she says one of the wings because we know that the wings are Zoro and Sanji. You know what I mean, or whatever. You know, we can assume
and it's
that
kind
they
of
are
confusing.
You know?
Well, no, something that was pointed out to me in the live reaction that I did. Somebody in the chat said that there's actually an interview in the past where Oda described Sanji and Zoro both as the wings.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
And so, in this official translation, I'm surprised that wouldn't be reflected.
Yeah.
Like the fan translation did.
Right.
And especially being the official translation, you know, you'd think they would know about these interviews and these things he said and like reflect that in the translation.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was even more off-putting because like if you didn't know about the translation, I went into this whole thing about like, well, what do you think Zoro is, like the fangs or the teeth? Or the claws? Because I thought it made a lot of sense that Sanji would be called the wings based
he can
on
fly.
his aerial abilities, you know?
Yeah.
And like Zoro was like
the talons.
Jinbei is like the fins or something. And Zoro's like the talons, you know.
So the Pirate King is just a giant fucking chimera.
No, but that's just as like the way it's described as Luffy's guys, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking of like final boss Lady Dimitrescu, but it's Luffy at the top going meat.
No. Yeah, man, I don't know. I just had to point that out, man, because Stephen Paul blew it, bro. He dropped the ball on that. That translation is buns, and I don't usually like early on in the life of our brand, in the life of our show, probably every fucking chapter, me and Kiko were like, "What is this?" You know what I mean? And we complained a bunch. We super toned it down and dialed it back, but this one was like so egregious that I like had to point out that difference.
I'm really glad you brought it up because honestly, like the other scan, like the other translation is really, really poetic. And I appreciate that because Nico Robin is an eloquent, intelligent, well-educated young woman who is introspective by nature. So like her having those kinds of lines makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been taking poetry out of like the official translations a couple times in this arc. When fucking Shutenmaru or Ashura Doji was like on his way out, about to be exploded, he said some super profound, you know, poetic samurai shit. You know what I mean, in the fan scan, and then in the official, you know, they just gave him fucking annoying New Yorker dialogue. Well, I mean, like, and I know that he speaks, you know, like with that kind of accent, like normally or whatever, but I mean, like, he's about to die. Like, get the fucking poetry out. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take too much away from the character that we've understood up until this point if you give him something poetic to say right before he fucking dies. He's a fucking samurai at the end of the day. Samurais are poetic inherently, just like, you know, like, let him get his words off, you know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But then we kind of move right into this ending part of the chapter here where we get Luffy on the beach like, "Oh, I need more meat." And they're like, "You already ate us out of house and home, bitch. What are you talking about? What the fuck?" And this moment with Luffy and Momo here at the end was, I thought it was awesome because he's like, he's telling him like not to cry. Obviously, he's like, "You're the leader. You can't fucking sit here and cry like a baby during the fight. Like, that's not a good look, G."
Right.
And
got people looking up to you.
And then him even doubling down on it and saying like, "You know what? You fly me back up there."
Yeah.
And I think what he means, like, he's like, obviously Luffy's not going to let him leave once they get up there. I think he's going to have Momo be there, not to participate in the fight. I don't think, but like just to see it through. You know.
I don't know if you would want to have him up there though, because that's going to be a massive distraction. Like Kaido's gonna be like, "Oh, you brought him up here? Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna fight, and then I'm gonna take the first chance that I can to go. Well, maybe not because."
And then Yamato is the protector spirit, so that she can defend him. From that.
And now that I think about it, because Kaido was like pretty salty that that Orochimaru used Momonosuke, you know, the way that that he did, or that Orochi. What did I say?
Orochimaru.
Orochi.
To be fair, that guy also focused on small children. So
there you go. But yeah, no. He was like, because Kaido, that was like a major point in the flashback. He's like, the fuck did you just do, bro? I was fighting this motherfucker, like man to man. You know what I'm saying? Neck to neck. You know what I mean? Like we were
dick to dick.
It's actually blade to blade.
Yeah, we were crossing blades, man, honorably, and then you fucking snatched up his son and like gave me the opening that I needed to win. I don't think you'd do that again. I think Momonosuke could be up there and Kaido won't really fuck with him.
Nah,
he'd probably be like, all right, look,
his son. It was the old lady. Like,
but it was Orochi's idea though, wasn't it? It was Orochi
so,
put in the order, right? Yeah. So I think Kaido would let Momonosuke be up there. He'd be like, all right, look, pimp, I'm gonna beat the shit out this motherfucker again in front of you, and then you can see, you know, what your place in the bigger picture is. You know what I'm saying? You grab a seat. You know what I'm saying? You need some ramen. You know what I'm saying? You need some popcorn or something. Like you chill. Me and Luffy gonna duke it out. I'm gonna sit on this man in front of you.
I don't know. Part of me thinks that like Orochi would be, or Kaido would be like, hey, you like my wayward child, you are fighting for the spirit of this place, for the leader of this place. If I kill the leader, then you don't have to fight me anymore, and you can resume your place to defend this weapons factory.
Ooh.
So I could see that happening. Also, are you guys vaguely familiar with like the story of Momotaro?
Not really.
It's an old Japanese story.
Not as much as I probably should be in this arc.
It's basically this kid is born inside a peach, found in a river.
Peach boy, yeah.
Peach
Momonosuke.
Boy. And he gets given some dumplings, and he runs into three creatures: a monkey, a bird, like a sparrow or something, maybe an eagle, and a dog, right?
Yeah.
And so he feeds those dumplings to those animals, and those animals help him defeat the devil.
Oh yeah. This is that one tweet I was talking about earlier in the review. Yeah. They were drawing it back to Momotaro. Yeah, in all the ways that you're saying right now, and they were appointing characters in One Piece to that story. Yeah.
Kaido and Yamato are the Onis, the red Oni and the blue Oni, right? Yeah. So like Kaido is because like even like the classic Oni, they always have those like iron-studded Tetsubo type things.
Yeah.
Right. So Kaido is the evil Oni who's like, we should stop being friends with these people. They are, we're going to take over them. And Yamato wants to be friends with the people and is the Oni, the devil, that wants to be protective of people because she still has the horns and everything, or I don't remember. It's a lot of chapters ago.
Here we go. I found the tweet. Benji at CHIJI at Chiji_ on Twitter says Luffy, Marco, Yamato, Momo, and Tama embody the tale of Momotaro. The boy with Kibidango that acquired the help of a monkey, pheasant, and dog went on to defeat the ogres of Onigashima, the island of demons. Zoro and Kaido embody the tiger versus dragon Buddhist symbolism of yin and yang. And then that's the yin and yang explosion ball that I was talking about earlier. And then the Logia admirals are also inspired by this tale as well. Akainu is red dog, Kizaru yellow monkey, Aokiji blue pheasant. Okay, there we go. There's the whole tweet. Boom. I found it. I said it. Shout out to at Chiji_ on Twitter.
Yes.
But yeah, no, Monkey D. Luffy, great. Like he feeds him a food. Momotaro feeds him food. Momonosuke feeds him food. And that monkey helps defeat the thing.
Yeah.
And it also has the dog that is Yamato. So who's the bird in that aspect? Is it going to be Marco? Because that'd be really cool. He's around.
Yeah.
He was doing
He's
stuff.
He's around, and he do be a bird, though.
Yeah, so I think that between those three, that's going to be like Marco, Yamato, Monkey D. Luffy. They're going to be the ones that really finish off Kaido, along with Momonosuke. And that's my prediction. It's One Piece.
Fire.
My predictions rarely come to the way I think they're going to come.
Right.
a half-fulfilled wish, like a monkey's paw, you know. I'm like, I'm kind of right, but I'm mostly wrong.
Right.
It's
Oh,
good
shit.
though.
Yeah, man. Wow. Oh, wait, Caribou's here. Okay, that's right. I forgot Caribou was here. What's this motherfucker gonna do?
I don't know. Maybe he's got some meat stores
Uh,
inside of his body.
is he able
Okay.
to do that?
I mean,
Yeah,
he is like
he is.
He has
very
like an
he-
infinite pocket dimension in his
Yeah.
Oh
fucking
yeah, because
body
he can.
where
He's
he
like an
put
ooze. He can
Shirahoshi
swallow
in
Yeah,
there.
he put Shirahoshi in that. Yeah, he's like
Oh.
And he
Clover.
wasn't even any bigger.
Yeah, he's like
He
Clover,
literally has a
Cloak and
pocket
Dagger.
dimension.
Yeah.
He can shapeshift too. So do you think he could become wings for like Momo?
Hmm. Well, Momo
No.
can just fly himself. He's a dragon.
Oh, he can. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because
He's
he does
got
a
the
He
little,
steps on
cloud
clouds.
motion that-
Yeah.
he does
Doo,
a
doo,
little,
doo,
little
doo.
cloud
Yeah.
climb, little cloud
Yeah.
doggy paddle.
Caribou can do some shapeshifting shit though. Like maybe I didn't think about that before. I think he can shapeshift, right? I'd have to double check. But if he can, we could see, some like poetic justice in the form of like him taking the form of something that distracts Kaido for a second. Well, but I don't
What
think we
if
want Kaido
he
to be distracted. I
disguises
think we
himself
want.
as
I think we want him to
Momonosuke?
be. Oh shit! Or he could. Oh shit! Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess I kind of took it as just like a little comedic relief. Like he popped up, like,
Yeah.
oh
I-
shit, what's going on? Like,
Yeah,
y'all better
he-
get it
he
together.
might
I'm never gonna
be-
be able to leave.
Well, I
man."
mean, if Oda's gonna put him in here at at this kind of point, it's because he's
Yeah.
gonna be useful in some kind of way. Like
Yeah.
he's going to do something memorable or significant, to some degree.
Mhm.
Like he's gonna be a player. So
I'm kind of feeling the food delivery system.
sure, yeah, it's fine.
Because Caribou is kind of the greedy little gut kind of rat that would just be like, oh, there's food, yoink, storing that for later.
stick it in his
storing that for
body
later.
whenever he gets the chance. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
He's got food, especially since they're only eating motherfucking dumplings in the prison.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
He's like,
yeah, yeah.
"Oh,
He
I'm
was in the
yocking
prison.
any plate I can.
Yeah.
exactly.
He's totally in the prison.
about that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
totally about that. But I do like the idea of him being like Clayface and pretending to be Momonosuke
Yeah, dude.
to like redirect a single attack from Kaido.
Yeah, if Kaido would attack Momonosuke in that kind of situation, that would be. I want to say that Kaido wouldn't though, after like thinking about like just the past and whatnot. You know what I mean? So,
That's fair.
but if he I mean, there's nothing's guaranteed there. You know what I mean? So if Luffy does bring Momonosuke up to the island, and then there was a little bit of like a bait and switch there, and then Kaido was like, "Oh, you brought this dude up here? You're an idiot!" Rah, you know what I mean? Like or something like that.
Yeah.
Could be
Well-
a cool little Caribou fake out there potentially if he is a shapeshifter. I still don't remember if he can actually shapeshift.
I like that idea that he does because
Yeah.
like Kaido, he believes in like the warrior's way. Like he believes
Right.
this is how a warrior should be honorable and stuff. And so I like the idea that like in a moment of frustration, Kaido doesn't act honorably, and that becomes the hinging point of his undoing, right? Because I feel like that's been kind of a common theme, especially in the Wano arc. Those who maintain their honor, those who stick to the way that they feel that they are meant to live, succeed.
Yeah.
Even if they suffer, they still succeed. And I think that like,
Yeah.
because like Black Maria, she's using lies and all these other things
Yeah.
to like get like it's like, oh, Sanji betrayed you, he's throwing you under the
Very
bus, this and
underhanded.
that.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like
Yeah.
and Orochi, right? Like
Right.
he was super underhanded and he got his comeuppance. So I feel
Mhm.
like that's just kind of a repetitive theme within the Wano arc
Yeah.
of live honorably, live well, and
You
you die.
accomplish your
If you
goals.
live well, you die well. If you
Yeah.
live poorly, no matter what death you have, it is a dishonorable one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Fire.
Yeah. Great chapter this week, man.
Yeah, man.
I think that's about all I had for it, though.
Yeah, I think I'm good too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that'll do it then. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to slap a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more fire content week to week. Also, hit that comment section down below. Let us know what you thought of this weekend jump. Chop it up. If we missed anything you felt like, mention it. We'll talk to you down there. Also, be sure to take a look in that description box down below, as we said before, where you can find links to any and all of our individual social media accounts, such as Twitter, online communities such as Discord, places to listen to the podcast wherever you would prefer. Also, ways to support the podcast through checking out our online shop or our Patreon. And with all those words said, this will be another stupendous episode of the Project Manga Podcast wrapping up. I'm your host, Eagle.
I'm Knox.
I'm Melo Yenis.
Sarabada.